Place can save big on your heating bills. Chimney Solutions will clean and inspect your chimney so you can safely get the most out of your fireplace this season. For a limited time, save even more. Get up to a $2,000 tax credit when Chimney Solutions installs your new wood-burning stove by the end of the year. And ask for $100 off chimney caps, get $100 off chimney caps. ChimneyIndy.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. And you know, we're headed into winter and you don't want to be stuck with old, drafty windows making your heating system work overtime. Universal Windows Direct is here to keep you warm and save you money on those energy bills. And right now, what a great deal going on with Universal Windows Direct. For every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Oh, and on top of that, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years, interest-free. Now, some restrictions do apply, so to get all the information, call today at 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Oh, yeah, and Universal Windows Direct backs their windows with a true lifetime warranty. That means your windows are covered for as long as you own your home. And if you ever decide to sell, the warranty transfers to the next homeowner for 20 years. Universal Windows Direct, 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Discover Barkeep Vodka, the cleanest and smoothest vodka thanks to its unique compression filtering by Indy-based True Essence.
Top shelf quality and value, and you're supporting local Indiana farms. Grab a bottle at any Indiana store or visit barkeepvodka.com.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Looking for the hottest trends in jewelry this year? Come to Pierce Jewelers and see their Love to Love collection in lab-grown diamond jewelry. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a busy traffic morning, including a collision between a car and a bus, also where state police fired their weapons in northern Indiana yesterday. And this leader in the State House was reelected to his position while also facing a few harassment accusations. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 9 o'clock.
War rages in Ukraine for the 1,000th day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is asking European leaders in their parliament today for even more military help.
We have succeeded not only in preventing Putin from taking Ukraine, but also in defending the freedom of all European nations.
Now, as Russian leader Vladimir Putin's war continues, another missile strike in Ukraine has killed 12 more people, while Fox's Jonathan Savage reports.
The Ukrainian military claims it hit a Russian weapons stash 70 miles beyond its border. The Ukrainian media and the Russian Defense Ministry both say U.S.-supplied ATACMS missiles were deployed. Over the weekend, President Biden decided to allow Ukraine to use them on targets deep inside Russia. A new Kremlin policy allows Russia to use nuclear weapons if an enemy enemy backed by a nuclear power uses conventional weapons against it.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage again. Democrats are speaking out against President-elect Trump's mass deportation plan of immigrants here illegally. Some governors plan to resist, but Trump-appointed border czar Tom Homan tells Fox they have to smarten up and work with him to make communities safer.
We're going to focus on public safety threats and national security threats first. And fugitives, those who cross the border illegally, had great due process at great taxpayer expense, were ordered removed by an immigration judge and didn't leave. They're also a priority.
We expect an update today on the Trump legal case in New York City, where the president-elect was convicted of falsifying business records to keep an alleged affair quiet before the 2016 election. Now, prosecutors have to file their plan by today on how to proceed with sentencing. And if the Supreme Court's immunity ruling for former presidents affects the convictions, he calls it political persecution. Also in New York City, a homeless man in custody suspected in 3 stabbing deaths.
We have 3 innocent New Yorkers.
Mayor Eric Adams says all 3 were stabbed to death, and they appear to be chosen at random. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It was a school bus versus a car. Radar mostly clear, a few lingering showers, cloudy and 60 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. A school bus collided with a SUV this morning on the south side. It was in Perry Township near East Hannah and South Keystone. Police say there were special needs students on the bus at the time. The bus driver was also slightly hurt. It's not clear what led to the collision. State police say a man was shot and killed by an officer Monday morning near I-65 and State Road 28 in Clinton County.
During the immediate time when the incident was still active, we did have State Road 28 shut down for a period of time. But at this point in time, State Road 28 is back open. Traffic is flowing through the area.
Sergeant Jeremy Pierce says it started on the interstate and ended at a gas station. State Senator Greg Taylor will remain the Democratic caucus leader despite 3 women accusing him of sexual harassment. Taylor was accused by the women in an Indy Star article, and he did not deny the accusations, instead apologized for his past behavior. The Democratic caucus saying that they are deeply troubled by the accusations. Howard County deputies arrested a man in Kokomo for drug dealing. Harrison Silcox reports.
Those deputies say Michael Rourke had a few outstanding warrants, which is why they met him at his place Saturday. Officers claimed the smell of weed was pretty noticeable before Rourke even answered the door, and he was arrested once he opened up. A search warrant is how deputies were allowed to take a peek inside the residence, which led them to finding meth, heroin, weed, and a handgun. Rourke now faces 3 felony charges, including dealing methamphetamine. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You can expect a cool down as early as tomorrow.
Much colder temperatures on the way. By the time we get to Wednesday, temperatures will be in the 40s for highs, and that's going to stick around. We may even be in the upper 30s by Thursday.
Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service. He says that system will also even bring some snow for central and northern Indiana, most likely. The Indiana Pacers have lost 4 of their last 6 games. They lost to the Raptors 130-119 last night north of the border. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Eastbound 465 still closed at I-69, and here's what I'm looking at on the camera. It is the barrier wall that still needs to get fixed here. It's separated right now, and crews are out there working on the barrier wall right now, but that has to be moved back to separate the ramp and the main line. But also, the good part is that the overturned vehicle and the semi-trailer have been hauled off. So those are done. I think we can get this going again once the barrier wall is fixed. So again, eastbound 465 closed at I-69. Traffic stop past Allisonville Road. I'm out at Keystone exit 33 if I want to avoid all that. In the meantime, east side, northbound 465 is stopped from 70 past Penn Pike. That's because the express lane is closed at East 56th Street. That far left lane for crash cleanup on the northeast side. Inbound 70 a little slow from Emerson into the north split. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an
incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Diamonds Direct's biggest and most spectacular sale of the year is starting now. For the first time, it's bigger than ever. Take 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, everything to make this holiday sparkle. This weekend, we're decking the halls with an expanded selection and top designers' appearances in the store. 20% off now through Sunday. Skip the Black Friday madness this year with Diamonds Direct. Open all weekend. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, designers of fine jewelry.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Morning showers coming to an end. Gradual clearing with breezy conditions this afternoon. Mild. Today's high 66. Sharply colder, quiet, partly cloudy overnight. A low of 41. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
A few spotty showers lingering. It's cloudy, 60 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 19th. Almost said Monday. No, it's Tuesday, November 19th. It's 7 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Okay, so a couple things in the show today. Yes, we're going to dump all over Rod Bray later on in the program. Yes. I know many people are ready for that, but we don't just give you the good stuff right away. We got to give you a reason to stay around. And Rod Bray, one of the Flanders boys, is every bit the awful, horrific, horrible human being we knew him to be, and he's proving it once again, the pro tem of the Senate. And so we will take a colossal, giant dump on him later on in the program. Also, Casey, this morning, I had a lovely conversation with Frank the Water Guy.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Frank the Water Guy called me first thing in the morning. I'm sure he was dreading that phone call, but he was very nice. We had a very productive conversation about whether or not the odds are that me or any member of my family is going to
might have unknown lead material in your water.
So we'll update everybody on the fabulous conversation I had with Frank.
Did you have to do that? Do you know who I am?
Well, I think it was pretty well implied when the guy's calling you at whatever it was, 7:45 in the morning. But it was very nice. It was very nice, and we'll talk about some lessons government people can learn from this little ordeal that we've been going through. But that's all coming up later in the program. You have a litany of just topics you've been beating down the door to discuss with the public at large.
Yes, I just can't wait till we get to the property tax tweaks rather than overhaul.
I'd like to tweak Rod Bray right off a tall building. How about that?
But we'll get to that soon enough, won't we? Instead, let's talk about a party. And where my invitation is.
That's right. Yes. Dinner, dancing. The governor's ball has been announced, or the reception, or whatever they call that.
Events for Mike Braun's inauguration.
Oh, yes.
They have been laid out. It's going to span 3 days, a Saturday night gala, a Sunday morning Catholic Mass, and then the official swearing in. Now, it's going to be a lot different than the last time the governor was sworn in because we were under COVID lockdown.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So this time, there's actually going to be a celebration.
Yeah, so it's like 3 days, right? And so now my thing is, I know the people, it was Capital Chronicle had a big rundown of everything. I know the people who are running the show over there.
You mean the GOP chair?
Well, she said some pretty horrific, now former, thankfully. She's former. Hopefully we can former her right out of the party altogether. But she said some pretty not nice things about me over the years. And so now I desperately want to go to this big thing, the first thing. What is it? Is it a ball? Is it a gas?
It's a gala.
Is it a poker hall somewhere or whatever we're doing? It's a big
Saturday, January 11th, 6 p.m. gala and dinner at the JW Marriott.
I just want to go because I know there will be so many donors and lobbyists who it will make them completely miserable at the thoughts that I would be at this event. So now, I mean, I normally don't like these things. I don't like causes. I don't like being around these people. But just for one evening to be in the same and to ruin their parade for one evening, I think I got to do this.
You want to ruin it? I want to go and have a nice time.
Well, you live to be a decent human being, and I'm here for spite. So, right? I mean, I think we've laid that out on this program before,
we are
right?
motivated by different things, aren't we? I'm wondering if we'll get an invitation. We know somebody, don't we?
We do. We know
some people.
We know a couple of people. And I really think it would be, look, we went to the thing on election night, and it was, I mean, let's face it, we were people were most happy to see us, even though it wasn't even our event. But, I mean, look at our ratings and look at the ratings of the Indiana Republican Party. I mean, who would you rather hang around with? But, yeah, I think if I were to receive an invitation, I might actually go to this thing.
You would definitely go to it.
I don't have any interest in the rest of the stuff.
Now, here's the caveat. You have to wear a suit, I believe.
I have a suit.
Okay.
I have 3 suits, Casey.
I just want an excuse to go buy a pretty dress.
I have a... Is this a buy a dress type of event?
Isn't it? It's a gala.
Well, but I mean, you strike me as someone who has several dresses that would be appropriate for a gala.
Is it gala or gala?
I don't know. You're the high society one. You're the
tomato.
Gala.
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 Okay.
Is there like a carpet where you walk down?
Like a red carpet? I don't know. At the last event when I walked in, guess who I was greeted by?
Todd Young.
Yes, that's true.
Spendingberg.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like Braun's our friend, and he says that he likes us, and obviously we have a friend in the lieutenant governor, and I can think of no better way to kick off the new era of Indiana Republican Party politics than
with your presence,
than old cousin Eddie showing up to the gala, the gala, right?
The gala.
The gala.
Yeah, I think it's like the Met Gala, like the same pronunciation.
That makes sense.
Do you twirl at a gala? Is that where you
What?
You remember the Seinfeld episode where you make an entrance?
Right.
Is that one of those sort of
a fancy entrance?
Yes, you could.
Now the question I have, and this, I mean, look, how hard is it to get tickets to this thing? Like, can I scalp the tickets? Like, if I get a ticket, is that something that you could put on StubHub and people is like the Taylor Swift type of tickets that people would be interested in consuming?
Yeah, on the secondary market, I bet those are going like gangbusters, right?
Is it? Because I'd want to bring my significant other too, and I'd want you to be there. So can we get 4 tickets?
We're gonna need a Rob plus 3. It is a ticketed event.
Of course. Oh yeah, heck yes. Yeah, it is. That's a big money. Now here's the problem. I don't want to pay for these tickets because I'm not giving money to the Republican Party.
So cheap.
I mean, I'm going to need someone to give us 4 tickets. That's what we need. I think we've earned 4 tickets, Casey.
We could do like a +5, Rob +5, and get like a sponsor and take.
No, I don't want to give any money to the Republican Party. This is the one event I'm going to go to. I'll go. We'll see how many people I can make uncomfortable, and then I have it out of my system.
Now, there is a free event, which is open to the public, and that is going to be on Sunday. It's the Sunday Mass, which is going to be held at St. Peter and Paul Cathedral in Indy. And here's the thing. I've been over to Life Church with you and seen Micah preach. I think this time you should join me at my church.
All right.
And see what that's all about.
Well, if we get tickets to the thing, then I'll go with you. I'll go to you at the other thing.
Okay. Now, there's also another event, which
seems like a lot of effort. Now.
I'm kind of interested in this one.
Oh no!
On Monday, January 13th, First Lady incoming.
There's a third day of this stuff.
It's a 3-day event,
Jeez.
Rob. First Lady Maureen Braun.
Lollapalooza.
She's going to host a breakfast, and she's honoring Indiana's female entrepreneurs. Tickets for this event start at $30. Do you think that I would be considered an entrepreneur? Like, I'm not.
You're a trailblazer.
Right?
You're a trailblazer.
I'm breaking glass ceilings here in the state of Indiana.
Absolutely, you're a trailblazer.
So that would be a good event.
100%. If you're not there,
I don't want to go to that to cause trouble, unlike you.
Wait. Time. This can't be right. My dad says I would have to get a tuxedo for this event.
Oh, because it's a gala. Yeah, this is super fancy.
No. I bet a suit would work for this.
A black suit with matching black pants.
I do.
I have even navy, perhaps.
I do. I actually got sworn into public office wearing a black suit.
Does it
still
fit
have it.
Still?
Casey.
I know your weight hasn't changed, but here's the thing: is it's still in style. Because,
what do you mean it's a suit?
Well, the leg of suit pants
The
has
what?
changed.
Slim pants are in fashion now.
Yeah, see, Kevin knows.
What, the who's are in fashion?
Slim pants. And I think you should just go to like Men's Warehouse and get it fitted for a tux.
No. Because now we're spending a bunch of money on this, and I'm not. No, I've got what I got. I've got a suit that you can wear from everything from a wedding to a funeral to a gala. It's a universal suit.
Funeral is appropriate.
Somebody would like me to wear it to my own funeral.
You could go to Men's Warehouse and rent a tuxedo.
No, I don't want to be spending a bunch of money on this.
Yeah.
I want to go to this thing. I want to get it out of my system, and then that's it. That's all I want.
Well, based on who is in charge of putting it together, I don't know if you're getting an invite. So you're gonna have to work some angles.
Well, I'm gonna need to find out also if you have to wear a tuxedo or if you can wear a suit. Huh?
Who are you gonna ask for that? Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah. Haven't you been to one of these before?
No.
No, never?
Oh, no. They used to just not have shoot-on-site orders when I would show up to things. I never got invited to anything like this.
Well, it's going to be quite an event and much different than what happened when Holcomb and Suzanne Crouch were sworn in. By the way, is Suzanne Crouch
She's still alive?
Is she still with us? She's still around? I haven't heard much from her lately.
There's so much local stuff going on.
I
A lot of
know.
times, I feel like kind of we've reached a lull in the national conversation, but there are so many local things. What local thing are we doing next, Casey?
Well, we're going to talk about how the House Speaker put out his pre-session memo.
They're not working.
Well, correct.
They're not doing any work.
Are they going to get paid a third?
No work is
based on what they're doing. We'll talk about that. You've also got Greg Taylor being reelected as the minority leader, and a statement from the Indiana Senate Democratic Caucus.
So Indy Star said, yes, that's right. Amanda in the YouTube chat said we should ask Susan if I have to wear a tuxedo to this.
Susan would know.
Susan would know. And Susan would err on the side of me being poor. So I think we could get a full...
Maybe she'll fish something out of Micah's closet you can borrow. It is Kendall Casey.
Wait. Before we go to break, so I got the Christmas tree out of the garage.
Yeah.
And I got it in the house. I don't have it up yet. You can't put your Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving.
Correct.
You agree with that?
That's how I agree at my house. I know people have their reasons.
And I got it and was looking at it and I was like, man, it's a heck of a nice tree. I don't recall having this tree. And my wife's like, you got it from Micah.
You going to put on your Christmas sweater from Micah as well?
The nicest sweater I own. And they're always like, we don't need this garbage anymore. Would you like it? Heck yes.
Yes.
I'll wear this for years.
We want your leftovers. You bet we do. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The colors of fall. Orange.
Orange cone zone. Orange cones all over the place. This time on the north side.
Orange.
Orange barrels are up, restricting the far left lane and then switching to the right lane.
And orange.
Aren't you glad that I didn't say orange again? That's a little traffic humor.
When the colors of fall have you seen red, orange.
If I never see orange again.
Turn to Matt Baird Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Custom home builder Joiner Homes is truly a one-stop shop because every stage of the process is done in one location. From picking the perfect home site to selecting the ideal floor plan, their architecture team will create a set of custom blueprints. Then into the design studio where you'll personalize every detail of your new home. A dedicated project manager oversees the home construction through completion. Joiner Homes will build you the most beautiful custom home. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joinerhomes.com.
What does the joy of Christmas mean to you? A gift? Time with family? Decorations and traditions? At Shepherd Community, the joy of Christmas is learning to read, feeling safe and loved, finding a stable job, and having a community that cares. Shepherd gives its neighbors gifts of joy and hope for a brighter future. You can give the joy of Christmas to neighbors living in poverty, not just at the holidays, but all year long. Visit caringatchristmas.org/give. That's caringatchristmas.org/give.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Reach your fitness goals in 2024 with the 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
See Pierce Jewelers' breathtaking selection of lab-grown diamonds, refined to perfection and value. It's the new choice in diamonds. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Our friend Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle tweeted this out yesterday. House Speaker Todd Huston's pre-session memo says that session will begin on January 8th. And for the first few weeks of each half, the House will only come into session on Mondays. This is instead of the usual Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday schedule.
Okay, so a couple things. It's Org Day today, and that's Organization Day, and this is where all the lawmakers get together at the the State House, and for the new people, it's where they find out where the men's room and the high-powered donors and lobbyists are located at, and for the rest of the people, it's sort of beginning to plot the course of the upcoming session. And the big news, which, oh my gosh, Casey, it's 9:23 on a...
We're going to get to it at 10 o'clock.
Well, you know, my least favorite part of every show
is when we're right.
Right, yes. Yeah. And, you know, we told you exactly how this property tax fight was going to unfold, and it's unfolding exactly as we told you it was going to unfold. And we'll get to that next hour on what the fight that is in front of us. But so they kind of lay all this out. That's why we're doing a lot of local stuff. And it turns out, I guess, Todd Huston feels that the House was just working too hard and said you're only coming in one day as an entire body as opposed to the previous norm of 3.
So will they get paid a third of what they normally get paid? Okay, what's the real reason for this? Is it because they don't have any bills yet going through the system? There's not a lot for them to do?
Well, one thing, because, you know, we're very fair. We load these people, but we will be fair and accurate because we value you, our audience, more than we do as much as we like to, you know, take pride in telling you these people what these people are. The committees will meet, and then the early part of the process, the committees are where everything gets, you know, kind of vetted out, and then it'll come back to the full House for a vote. It is just a bad look, though, that they gave themselves these big raises a couple years ago, and now they're like, that sounds like a lot of hard work.
Well, you said the first few weeks. What is that? Is that 2-3 weeks?
That's a great question. What was the wording in the article? Does it say the first
few weeks of
few?
each?
F-E-W is the word.
Mhm.
What is few? Is a few 2?
Mhm.
Is a few? I mean, I'm asking.
Are we going to a few?
Is
Two,
that 3?
3?
Is it 3?
A couple would be
if
2.
I were to
a
say,
few would be 3.
If I were to say, Casey, I have a few weeks left.
Well, for you,
before.
That could be anywhere from 2 to 5.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying like I have a few. If I said I had a few weeks left before Christmas break,
I feel like a few is 3.
3. Okay.
Because you would say a week if you meant 1. You
Yeah.
would say a couple if you meant 2.
That's a good point. Like a couple is 2. So yeah, a few would be 3.
3 or 4.
So I'm if maybe, somebody could clarify from the speaker's office if you're going to let these people grift and do as little as work as possible past 3 weeks. If you could let us know, that would be very helpful.
Another thing that happened yesterday, the Indiana Senate Democratic Caucus, they reelected Greg Taylor of Indianapolis as their leader. And this happened just hours after the Indy Star reported allegations of sexual harassment against him from 3 women spanning 8 years. The allegations include unwanted physical contact and romantic pursuit of an intern. And Taylor did not deny the allegations. However, he did apologize for his past behavior and said that it may have blurred the lines.
Okay, why don't we take a break because, Kurt Darling will file some formal letter of protest if we don't get into the news by 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want in any way want to risk angering him. But we need to go over some workplace etiquette. And I know that's normally someone else's job on this show, but let's go over some. I mean, I can't believe this.
Mm-hmm.
We're adults. We're adults, and we have to tell the senators and the House members
what's appropriate,
the
and what's not.
workplace romance rules.
Okay.
And as someone who flawlessly executed the workplace romance into a marriage, I think I'm uniquely qualified to offer advice on this.
All right, sounds good. That's coming up from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield and recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
PA Jewelers is your must-shop store for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. PA Jewelers already has fine jewelry and gemstones discounted 70% below the box stores. Now, on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, you get 10% off everything PA Jewelers sells. Estate jewelry, watches, and jewelry from local artists. Visit PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030, or online at premierarms.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Keeping the government running. It's cloudy and 61 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. While getting ready to convene a new Congress, the old Congress still has to keep the government running, or keeping it rather from running out of money. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
With a funding deadline close to Christmas, House Republicans are looking at next steps. Chairman of the conservative House Freedom Caucus, Andy Harris, would like to see an extension of current government funding with a bill attached to it that would require proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections. Some believe extending government funding to early next year would give President-elect Trump a chance to pass a longer budget with the GOP-led House and Senate. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Ukraine has begun to fire U.S.-made missiles into Russia. That's according to Moscow, which said it shot down 5 U.S.-made missiles today. It's the first time Ukraine has launched a strike on Russia since President Biden gave the okay for the country to use U.S.-made weapons against Russia. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. And the Ukraine-Russian tensions are the reason for big declines today. The Dow was off 417 points to 43,123. The Nasdaq down 134 to 20,499. And the S&P 500 is down 42 to 5,877. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. Experts say that heating costs are increasing up to 23% this winter. And if your windows aren't from Window Nation, your money is literally going out the window. They have some of the best insulated windows, so your heat stays inside. And right now, get these amazing windows at 50% off.
Plus, you could save even more money with 0% interest for 5 years. Hurry, this sale ends November 30th. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
This Christmas, as you're picking out gifts for loved ones, take a moment to think about the future gift you can give yourself. The gift of a secure retirement. Howard Bailey Financial is here to help you unwrap the possibilities of peace and confidence. With our free retirement toolkit, you'll get practical steps and insights to plan for the years ahead. From saving strategies to planning tips, this toolkit is like a financial compass for your future. And best of all, it's completely free to download. Don't wait until next year to start planning. Text GIFT to 888-262-1104. Download your free retirement toolkit and give yourself the gift of financial confidence this holiday season. That's GIFT to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Howard Bailey Security, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So the Indiana Senate Democratic Caucus re-elected its leader, Senator Greg Taylor of Indianapolis, and this happened just hours after the Indy Star reported that 3 women have accused him of sexual harassment.
All right, I cannot believe we have to have this conversation, but we do, because clearly the people down the street from us have no idea how to behave. They should be listening to Mind Your Manners.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what we'll do this week on Mind Your Manners is workplace dating etiquette.
Okay.
Because we have a bunch of grown adults down the street, and at least it appears one of them in a somewhat large role of prominence. And I'm basing this on the fact of his statement to the Indy Star was not any sort of denial whatsoever.
No, he did not deny it.
They need this. They need this etiquette from us. And as someone who mastered the art of workplace dating and turned it into a marriage, I think I'm uniquely qualified, Casey, to offer this. So Greg Taylor is, in addition to being a horrifically stupid individual, and this was long, I would say that about him long before this little expose in the Indy Star came out, is the minority leader in the Indiana Senate.
Yeah.
Now, the Democrats are so far in the minority, they make up 20% of the Indiana Senate. 10 out of 50 senators are Democrats. So they're not players in anything. He's not a power broker, but he is the leader of the Democrats, all 10 of them out of 50 in the Indiana Senate. And the Indy Star, and if you have ever had a conversation with Greg Taylor, he is a genuinely stupid person.
Well, he's been in the caucus since 22, and he's represented District 33 since 2008.
If you were to say which of the Democrats was most likely to be accused of this and be stupid enough to not understand rules of workplace dating, period, much less rules of government workplace dating, I would say Greg Taylor would be front and center. And by the way, if Greg would like to dispute how genuinely stupid he actually is, we'll give you a whole hour, and then we'll just say the prosecution rests, Your Honor. You're welcome to come on this show at any time. So the Indy Star has this expose about Greg Taylor, about how over a bevy of years.
8.
Yeah. He was allegedly, now again, he didn't deny it, he didn't refute it, he basically copped to it, and there's quotes in there somewhere, that he attempted to, would that be the right phrase? He attempted to engage in romantic relationships with multiple staffers in the Indiana government.
Romantic pursuit of an intern.
Okay, so let me lay out how the workplace romance works.
Yeah.
And it's very simple, Casey.
Yeah.
Do you have the ability to hire or fire this person? Do you have the ability to affect the job that they are doing and the manner in which they do the job? And do you, on some level, potentially have affect their ability to get another job if they desire it, or the pay in the current job? So those are three pretty straightforward things, right? If the answer is yes to any of them, especially in the government, just don't,
pursuit.
right?
Yeah.
Just do not. Do not. So like my wife, when I met my wife, we were owned by Emmis at the time. She worked for Emmis. She worked for corporate Emmis, which meant she reported directly to Mr. Smolian. In fact, she was essentially his personal IT person. They sent her down here to our floor. This is back in the days where everybody had their own IT person. The guy that was here before her had a little problem and had to go away. And so they said, let's send the hot young chick down to the fourth floor at Emmis. I, nor my wife, had any direct control over each other. No one could hire the other. No one could fire the other. No one could affect the pay of the other. No one had any direct reporting requirements in any shape, form, and or fashion to each other. Thus, it was okay for them to date each other. So like in the case of Greg Taylor, if you're a senator, really, only another senator would be okay for you to date because everybody else is under your control. Like, why is this? And if you're going to do it, let's just say the person you're interested in this person and you have so little self-control that it doesn't dawn in your little pea-sized brain, should I pressure a staffer into a romantic relationship? And after repeatedly being rebuked, keep going?
Yeah.
Let's just say in your little pea-sized brain that doesn't register as a senator. Then you report it to someone and go, is this okay? Am I allowed, like the HR, am I allowed to do this? Like, we're having this conversation. And we had the same thing when it was the Vince McMahon stuff. Like where he allegedly hires this woman and then gets in this romantic relationship with her, and now he's accused of human sex trafficking. You can, as long as everyone is of age and consents, you can do just about whatever you want with whoever you want, but not a coworker. Not someone who's under your direct supervision and or authority.
Yeah, I like Kevin's answer that he was told, you get one chance. You get to ask her once, and if she says no, you got to move on.
But yeah, and that was when I worked at warehouses, too, so I can't imagine, it's a whole other ballgame in a government job.
And that's as a coworker. I would agree. Like, my pickup line to my wife, and it was one of the all-time greatest pickup lines in the history of ever, and it totally worked, and plagiarism is the greatest form of flattery, so you may steal this, anybody, and use this as you want, and I don't even need credit for it. I'd like if it works out in a marriage someday for you to use it. I gave her my phone number, and I said, here's my phone number. All I ask is that you please don't give it to the paparazzi. And I just walked away. And then it was on her.
You put it in her court to call you.
I wasn't even, I didn't even ask her out.
Yep.
I just said, here's my phone number. All I would ask is that you please don't give this to the paparazzi.
And what did she do? Did she call you or text you?
Oh, like
Come on,
within.
spill it.
Oh. Wouldn't you have wanted to be involved with this? I mean, come on, Casey.
Would she text you?
I don't
Do you
even remember. That was
You
a
don't
long time
remember.
ago. I don't know. But the
okay.
point is, it was done. Then it was out of my hands.
So, similar situation, because, I met the dude at work.
Right.
And you know what my line was? We need help moving a couch. Are you available?
Was that a literal thing?
We really did.
Oh, you did? Okay. It wasn't a metaphor. The point is, though, like whether it's Thomas Carl Cook or this guy, like you're in the government. You are, I mean, it's one thing like in a private corporation, even, there's obviously every corporation has its own rules and regulations and how superiors engage with, subordinates or whatever. You're a leader in the government. You're a powerful senator to some extent. You're a known quantity in the community, and you're being thirsty for young women, and the article details the allegations, which again he doesn't deny, of this repeated. It's one thing it's not okay as a senator to be going after your staffers or other people's staffers, but it's one thing to casually throw it out there and then be like, well, she took the ball and ran with it or whatever. But these are he's blowing up this person's, I think that was the phrase they used in the article about one of these people. He's just incessantly texting or calling these people. And it's what is wrong with you? Just date somebody outside of the Senate, outside of that state house. Here's the little, remember when we were kids and you'd play, what was the game where you get to tag or whatever, where you get to home base? If you're on home base, you're safe.
Hide and seek.
That's home base. Just don't play in the home base.
Yeah. So Senator Andrea Hundley of Indianapolis, she ran for minority leader and she lost. And here she is expressing disappointment in the results, and she said she's committed to holding him accountable.
I want to talk about what happened at the State House today. Today, we held our caucus leadership vote. I ran for Senate Minority Leader. I lost. And while I'm disappointed by the outcome of our caucus leader election, I'm committed to ensuring that changes are made and that Leader Taylor is held accountable. I commend my colleagues that voted with me to ensure that there would be a new generation of leadership and accountability. It is unacceptable for anyone to experience harassment or exploitation, and it's especially egregious when it involves those in a position of public trust. It was a difficult decision for me to accept the assistant leader nomination. I feel that I owe it to our members, to our staff, and to our community to ensure that there is a high level of scrutiny and accountability. And being a part of the decision-making process is going to allow me to do just that.
Okay, so Hundley is now going to serve as the assistant leader. She replaces Senator Shelley Yoder, who stepped down due to her moral stance on the allegations. And Andrea Hundley, she did not vote for Taylor. She voted for herself. We know Ford did not vote for him.
Hey, wait. Here's the thing. And these people, a pox on all their houses. Don't buy their bullcrap. People have known about Greg Taylor for a long time. It's just like Jamie Knoll. People, they didn't know the extent to which Indy Star went in depth, but people have known about, I think it was Briggs tweeted out that this stuff had been out there for a long time. You're going to tell me if the general public knew, or reporters knew, or radio broadcasters knew that these people didn't know that stuff was out there? Again, it's like the same crocodile tears over Jamie Knoll of all these politicians that he was hooked up with. It's bipartisan, right? And who could have seen that coming? Everybody saw it coming. These people are full of it. They're totally full of it. Name the names then. Name the names. If you're that offended, name the names of the people who voted for this guy. We know 2. There's only 10. Are we led to believe the other 7 voted for this guy? Voted to put him back in a position of power? The Star article had come out when you had your vote. Name the names. They're not really. Andrea Hundley wants to run for mayor of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
She along with Vop Osley, are the 2 that are in line to be the next mayor of Indianapolis. That's why she's walking on eggshells here. That's why she's walking on thin ice here, is she doesn't want to risk pissing off someone in the coalition that she's hoping to build to become the next mayor of the city of Indianapolis. It's bull.
So the Indiana Senate Democratic Caucus, they put out a statement. They said they're deeply troubled by the recent allegations of sexual harassment, and they acknowledged a toxic behavior in the State House.
They just reappointed the guy to be in charge. What do you mean you're disappointed or toxic? Or you are the toxic. I know we got to get to a break, but I will never, ever, 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 never forget this story. When I first got in the State House, working in the auditor's office, and there was somebody out there who was being a major pain in the backside, and there was all sorts of dirt on this person. And I remember asking someone very powerful in the State House, naively, totally naively, I was like, why don't people just out this guy? Like, why don't they just get it out there and take him down? And the person said, because everyone in here is, for the most part, almost everybody,
guilty of something.
Yeah, they're dirty, and they know each other's dirt, and they hide and protect each other. The Democrats knew what this guy was. If radio broadcasters and newspaper reporters and in some cases rank and file people had heard the stuff about this guy, there's no way they didn't know, and it took the Indy Star. And by the way, kudos to the Indy Star. This is what I'm talking about with the Indy Star. The straight reporting they did. The Thomas Carl Cook stuff was great. This was great. The Larry Nassar stuff was great.
You mentioned Thomas Carl Cook, and I just want to point out what is going on, though, with the Democrats in Indianapolis. They have, it seems, a real issue with sexual harassment.
Yeah, but you know what? If you want to dig into dirty on these lawmakers, think of all the Republicans who over the past several years have just, well, I've had enough of this, and I'm out, and I'm on to the next thing. You think those people are going to run soup kitchens? You think they're doing that out of the goodness of their? I mean, if you dig on a lot of these people, you're going to find stuff, and a lot of it you don't even have to dig that hard. It's an example of the gutting of the amount of reporters and people who can investigate things in the State House, and the lawmakers know this, and they know it's very hard to prove something on them. And good on the Indy Star for doing this, and the Democrats are complete hypocrites.
All right, coming up, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving travel numbers and also Trump's pick for transportation secretary. It's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
You think the Bible's boring? It's hard to understand? This is Pastor Nathan from Life Church. We explain the Bible book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse. We know God's Word breathes life into people Sunday after Sunday. And when we finish a book, not only will you understand it, but we believe that it'll change you. We just started the book of John, and it reveals who God is. If you're just curious or you've walked with the Lord for a long time, we'd love to have you come. Check out lifechurchin.com for service times and locations.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here with my friend Jack Hope, owner of Hope Plumbing. Jack, at the Sullivan House, we can't deal with any last-minute plumbing emergencies around the holidays. What do you suggest to get ready?
It's important to get your branch lines cleared because it could prevent a major disaster at some point over the holidays. And for the month of November, we have a $99 branch line clearing special for all your faithful listeners.
You heard them. Call Hope Plumbing for a $99 branch line clearing and get your home prepped for all the holiday fun.
To all you tool people out there, has Harbor Freight got a deal for you? Big savings every single day this November. Because we know that right now, when the price of everything only seems to go up, you need a place where prices stay low. So shop in-store or online for quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love every day. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIPC.com.
Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world.
We are 1 week away from the Thanksgiving travel period. It's expected to see a record number of travelers both on the roads and in the skies. They consider the Thanksgiving travel period November 26th through December 2nd. 79.9
Through
million.
when?
November 26th through December 2nd.
Thanksgiving's on the 28th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get like a week. A week to travel, a couple days there, hang out
30.
for the weekend.
Is there a
days
31? Is there a November 31st?
No, it's
the
just
30th.
the 30th.
So Saturday is the 30th.
Mhm.
December 1st would be a Sunday.
Yeah, by Monday you need to get back to work.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry. So that's like that was deceptive though because there is no 31st. So it would give you Monday to get to return home.
Yeah, and they're expecting 79.9 million people to travel at least 50 miles from home, which is an increase of 1.7 million people from last year.
Are you making your kid come home?
She was going to, but when I was hanging out with my brother and sister-in-law on vacation, they were like, "No, you need to come hang out with us." And they've got a nice pad, so we're gonna go east.
Oh,
since I found out we have Friday off.
Yes, we get Thursday and Friday.
Right. So
I'll be gone all next week.
Yeah.
I have to burn.
Mm-hmm. You're being forced into using your vacation.
Yeah,
days.
so I'm going to be off all next week, and then I will be back through the 16th, and then that's it for me.
Yeah.
We're calling it a year.
For the year.
I'm hanging my jersey up for the remainder of the year. Okay, so you're going to see your daughter that way then.
Yeah.
She's going to meet you guys.
Yep, she's going to meet us.
Very good.
Again, going to take a day off and take a day off to get away from politics and head to Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. Now, I saw gas downtown was $2.67.
Mm-hmm.
$2.67.
Yeah, that's down.
Yeah, that's way down.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that Costco membership, so I'm thinking I might be able to even beat that at the Costco.
So Donald Trump has picked his new transportation secretary. And we've got...
Can't be any worse than the current guy.
Sean Duffy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Sean Diddy. I thought for sure. I thought it was going to be Sean Diddy. I thought, you got to be kidding me.
Nope.
Sean Duffy.
Nope, former Wisconsin congressman.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a congressman, right?
Former MTV reality star.
Is he also a Fox News guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Donald Trump said he will use his experience and the relationships he has built over many years in Congress to maintain and rebuild the country's infrastructure. And one thing is for sure, he has been very critical of Pete Buttigieg.
Without reliable air travel, the economy collapses. And Mayor Pete was ignoring the problem. He was able to do that because, despite his fixation on climate change, Buttigieg flies everywhere on private jet. What's striking is how often this happens. There's a crisis, and Pete Buttigieg decides to ignore it. Mayor Pete went on vacation in Portugal just a couple weeks ago as rail workers prepared to strike. He was on paternity leave as dozens of container ships couldn't enter the country a year ago.
Okay, so do you remember when Pete Buttigieg said that the roads were racist?
Yeah.
This is now the second Fox News contributor that Donald Trump has tapped to be in his cabinet, so there's some openings there. But Duffy said that he's eager to help usher in a new golden age of transportation.
And he's an age in reverse person. I mean, maybe that's because he's a TV star. Like, he may have had the work, but he's like a Tom Brady type of guy where he just doesn't age.
Right.
So his hair's a little bit more gray.
He's 53 years old.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I'm 40. I look like death. This guy's 53, and he's still relatively well together.
All right, coming up, we've got to talk about it. The tweaks rather than an overhaul that one person suggested for property tax reform. That's on the way from 93 WIBC.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of, why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-305-8096. 800-305-8096. 800-305-8096.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Diamonds Direct's biggest and most spectacular sale of the year is starting now. For the first time, it's bigger than ever. Take 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, everything to make this holiday sparkle. This weekend, we're decking the halls with an expanded selection and top designers' appearances in the store. 20% off now through Sunday. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. Open all weekend. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Democrats are keeping him in leadership, even though he's facing harassment claims. Plus, a few more details as to why state police shot someone in Clinton County. And John Herrick gives you ready for your Thanksgiving travel plans. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Ukraine appears to be using what the U.S. provided. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Russia claims 6 missiles fired into its territory were the American long-range missiles President Biden green-lighted for use over the weekend. Russia also claims it shot 5 of them down. Ukraine, using those missiles, has prompted Russia to once again issue a nuclear threat.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has formalized a change he ordered just a few weeks ago. Now, Russia's nuclear doctrine states it could consider using nuclear weapons in the face of a convention.
Yet another Russian missile strike at the city of Sumy in northern Ukraine, killing at least 12 more people today. Meanwhile, on another war front, a U.S. envoy in the Middle East is sounding optimistic about an Israeli-Hezbollah ceasefire.
Amos Hochstein, who is leading the Biden administration's diplomatic efforts in Israel and Lebanon, says Hezbollah allies in Lebanon's government are responding positively to a proposal that would likely withdraw both Hezbollah and Israeli forces out of a UN buffer zone in southern Lebanon. Israel has demanded a stronger enforcement mechanism to prevent rocket attacks that have forced thousands of residents from their homes.
That's Fox's Jared Halpert. FEMA is about to get a lot of scrutiny from House Republicans at the first of 2 hearings today, where they'll question Administrator Deanna Criswell, probing alleged anti-Trump bias after a supervisor fired last week said some hurricane victims in Florida with Trump signs outside their homes were skipped as they registered people for disaster relief. Chelsea Need, who worked for FEMA until 2019, tells Fox.
From what I can tell, this happened under the Biden administration because previously when I was a FEMA employee for 12 years, I never saw anything like this.
Thanksgiving's next week, and Americans plan to travel in record numbers. And it's not just AAA predicting that with its estimate of nearly 80 million travelers. TSA projects all-time highs in airport screenings. More than 18 million passengers between next Tuesday and the Monday after Thanksgiving. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Accused, but reelected. It's 61 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. State Senator Greg Taylor has been accused of sexual harassment. 3 women have come forward to the Indy Star saying that they were harassed by Taylor, who soon after released a statement apologizing. Despite the claims, Taylor was reelected by fellow Democrats to serve as State Senate Minority Leader yesterday. State police in Clinton County fired their weapons Monday morning near I-65 and State Road 28.
There is one person that is deceased at this time, but there is no ongoing threat to the public.
State Police Sergeant Jeremy Pierce says no officers were injured, but the person they shot was a woman who is a murder suspect on the run out of Ohio. Troopers say that she fired at least 1 shot at them before they eventually shot her at a gas station. 2 people were shot on the near southeast side late Monday. It was near East Raymond and South Sherman, according to IMPD. The pair were among at least 5 people shot across Indy in separate incidents Monday evening. If you're going anywhere this Thanksgiving, you can expect to have company on both the roads and in the sky.
AAA spokeswoman Christina Griffiths says nearly 80 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more Thanksgiving week.
And then in Indiana, we're expecting nearly 1.9 million Hoosiers to be traveling across that same time period.
And she says that's an increase of more than 2% from last year. Griffiths believes way more people in Indiana will be driving instead of flying. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
It happened on this day 20 years ago.
Post Ben Wallace on Jackson, and Ben will take it in, drawing a 2-shot trip with 45 and 9/10 seconds to go. And now Ron Artest, Ben Wallace, and others getting locked up. A big brawl in front of the Indiana bench.
As described by Mark Boyle on the Pacers radio network, malice at the Palace, which resulted in suspensions and even assault charges for several Pacers and Pistons players back in 2004. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and I asked my wife this morning why women don't want to get their carpets cleaned. She said they absolutely do want to get their carpets cleaned, but they just don't want the hassle. You know, I get it. Nobody wants to have to move furniture, worry about people that they don't know coming into the house, worrying about the chemicals they're using, and then waiting around for things to dry. I get it. But that's not Zero Res. And with their Gotta Love It guarantee, they're going to make sure it's a great experience that you'll never, ever regret. There is nobody better at cleaning than Zero Res. Right now, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and $75 off air duct cleaning too. That's a $40 savings on the carpet cleaning. The Zero Res service is easy to line up, and you can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Just call them and mention WIBC. It's Zero Res. Call 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's full-service jewelry store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 19th, 5 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So today is Organization Day at the State House, and Indiana Governor-elect Mike Braun sent out a letter to every state lawmaker this morning. In it, he outlines his administration's policy agenda, and he says that he's also committed to an open-door policy and a spirit of collaboration. And as we get into this, I would like to point out the first thing in his letter. Point number 1, cut, cap, and reform property taxes. Provide relief to taxpayers and ensure a fair, predictable system.
Yeah, so obviously I know a lot of people were upset that we chose to support Braun, but I said, look, it comes down to, for me, it was really 2 things. It's the universal school choice, which I think Braun will get across the finish line, and his ability to get property taxes fixed in this state, and the plan that he ultimately put forward, thanks in large part to this show, was by far the most realistic, best plan that could pass the General Assembly. And I said we would be fools not to, with Braun extending the olive branch to us and really courting our support, we would have been stupid to not take that and agree to disagree on the things we disagree on and work together on these very large, these are not minor issues. Universal school choice is a monumental issue, and the property tax issue is the biggest issue. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you're being used. He's going to get elected, and then he's going to drop this, and he's going to drop you. No, he's not done any of those things. And in fact, he said in his post-election news conference, and he's put it out again, that property taxes are priority number 1 for Mike Braun. And look, it really makes sense. If Braun fails on property taxes, he's a one-term governor. If Mike Braun, because he put all his eggs in the property tax basket, now whether he did it of his own volition or not, he did it, right? He can't undo the thing he did. And if he, as governor, fails on meaningful property tax reform, which, by the way, we will decide what is and what is not meaningful, and we'll let you know, then he's in big trouble, and he knows that. And so, to his credit, he is continuing the messaging that property tax reform, as it is, because he's heard it from everyone, is the number 1 issue in the state of Indiana.
So he did this letter to members of the Indiana General Assembly. He said, as part of this collaboration, I look forward to working closely with each of you to implement these priorities. Number 1, cut, cap, and reform property taxes, provide relief to taxpayers, and ensure a fair, predictable system. Now, number 2 is to pass a balanced budget. Number 3, improve constituent services. And number 4 was universal school choice. He had some other things on the list as well, but a reminder that Mike Braun, governor-elect, says his number 1 priority is property taxes.
Yeah, and Braun, it's so interesting because Braun, it's like, we always talk about those choose your own adventure books, right? And what Braun does over the next 5 months is going to decide the adventure for Mike Braun. He really has 2 adventures he can go on. He can go on adventure 1, in which he is this super transformational governor that goes down in history as one of the best, most important governors in the history of our state when you look at the issues that are in front of him and the things he talked about in that letter. Or he will be a guy who failed spectacularly and ends up likely being a one-term governor. He's made the promise, he's going to fix it, and now it's on him. And so this, one of the things that we had spelled out to you is we said, look, fixing property taxes is a 2-step process. And if you don't, you, the listener, don't engage in the exercise, throughout the entire exercise, then the property taxes are not going to get fixed. Step one was get Braun elected well over that 50% threshold with a clear mandate, because he was running on property tax reform, to fix the property taxes. Step one was accomplished. You, the audience, you, the voter, did your job with step one with 54% of the vote for Braun. That's well over that 50% threshold, especially with a strong libertarian, by libertarian standards, running. Most of those votes would have gone to Braun if that person hadn't been in the race. So it's a clear majority of people said fix property taxes in the state. Now, we said the second step, and it's going to be an even more important part of the process, is your engagement once the General Assembly convenes at the start of 2025.
January 8th.
Your willingness to engage, both in phone calls and emails, and if we have rallies of some sort, and going to the State House and lobbying these lawmakers and putting pressure on them. When you see them out at events and these breakfasts or whatever they go to, it's a two-step process. If you don't engage in both, property tax reform will fail because, as we've said, the legislators do not want any part of this.
Okay, let's talk about the legislators. The House Speaker, Todd Houston, came out and he expressed a willingness to cooperate with Braun on property tax reforms. He aimed to find, quote, the right balance. However, and this is the big but, the Senate President Pro Tem, Rod Bray, has cast some doubts on the prospects about a major overhaul. And he said that significant reforms could take multiple legislative sessions.
That is so offensive because they've had multiple years. Now, don't forget, 2 years ago, they passed something and we sat on this show and I said, that won't help anyone. And they said, oh, they're there. The shock jocks are just trying to scare the voters. No one's been helped. Clearly, the number one issue, they passed this thing 2 years ago that we sat here and said that's not going to help anybody, and they're not stupid, and they know that's not going to help anybody. It dealt with the homestead deduction, which they knew in these suburban cities and towns wasn't going to help anyone because the homestead deduction is based on the rate, the collective rate of all the taxing entities, and they knew the collective rates in most of these places were above where help would be delivered. So they will lie to you. They'll say, see, look at what we did. The average person won't know how to look into it. And we told you. And clearly it helped so little that the number one issue in this campaign for governor was property tax reform. They've already had 2 years to fix it, and they didn't. And they don't want to fix it. Guys like Bray don't want to fix it because they are afraid of the teachers union. And they're afraid of these local government people who they are subservient to, and they are going to fight this, especially in the Senate, because the districts are bigger, and they got more of these local government people yapping at their heels. They have more of these people to deal with, and so they are going to, at all costs, as Rod Bray has now laid the gauntlet down, on to do as little as possible and hope that you leave them alone.
Okay, so Bray acknowledged that property tax concerns are brought up by constituents, but he suggested that this year may only see, quote, tweaks to ease the burden rather than big changes, which completely contrasts what your governor-elect, Mike Braun, has said he wants to do.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, where you, the audience, us, and we'll have a strategy for you. We don't have it yet, but we'll have a strategy for you, and it'll be a strategy by the time we give it to you that we feel good about will make the difference. You're going to have to overload the system. And what I'm talking about is like what you did with Banks and Young the other day, but on steroids. Like we're going to have to shut phone lines down. We're going to have to clog voicemail boxes. We're going to have to emails, letters, events at the State House. Like if you're not prepared to engage on that level, you're going to lose the property tax fight, and it won't be Braun's fault. Braun is doing his part. Here was the quote that they gave me. They said I could read on the air. Governor-elect Braun's agenda will propose legislation to cut, cap, and reform property taxes for all Hoosiers and will not differ from the plans he shared with voters. He is committed to working in partnership with the members of the legislature to deliver a bold and meaningful solution to Hoosier taxpayers to lower their property tax burden. Mm-hmm. So Braun is putting it out there.
Yep.
Braun is saying it should be the top priority.
He sent a letter to the
He appears to have some level of support for this in the House. Mm-hmm. And so ultimately, once we deliver the game plan to you, it's going to be up to you to get involved, to engage, and to make your voice not just but you have to overwhelm the system. You have to shock and awe the system with these senators because they do not want to do this.
It does seem like it's a failure to act on Bray's part.
Well, he's a loser.
He's not working the best interest of Hoosiers.
Rod Bray is an attorney who elevated himself being an establishment butt sniffer, and that's what these guys do. That's what these guys do. They take the path of least resistance. They don't want any meaningful reform. He wants to keep the most amount of people off his backside as possible. He doesn't care about you. And you're going to have to bypass this guy and make your individual senators. You're going to have to make your individual senators care about you and overload and overwhelm the system to the point that they have no choice but to pass Braun's property tax plan.
It is True Crime Tuesday. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by Harold Schechter. He is the author of Hell's Princess, and he's going to recount the story of Belle Gunness, who was a female serial killer from LaPorte, Indiana.
How about that?
Yeah. That's on the way next from 93 WIBC.
President-elect Trump has a new cabinet pick, Sean Duffy, to be Transportation Secretary.
93 WIBC.
Much colder temperatures on the way.
Chance of snow.
Could pick up the minor accumulations.
Hear the news.
Gas prices to trend downward.
Several counties, the average is below $3 a gallon.
Another news update is minutes away.
10-0 Indiana Hoosier football team plays second-ranked Ohio State.
Head football coach Kurt Signetti
will be at full strength for the game.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Pat Sullivan for the Michaelis Corporation, talking with Richard Michaelis about foundations. What are signs of a foundation issue?
Cracks or bowing in your basement walls, uneven floors, or cracked brick? Call Michaelis for a free inspection. We are locally owned for almost 40 years. We offer a lifetime warranty and 0% down on foundation repairs.
Foundations, basements, and crawl spaces, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call or text 844-FIX-INDY.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Don't wait until Gold Friday. Get your tickets today. Siaka hits the three. Pacers have the lead. Pacers pre-Gold Friday deals have tipped off. Out to Walker. He's hit a couple of threes. Count it again.
Pre-Gold Friday deals presented by KeyBank are underway with tickets as low as $5 when the Pacers meet the Wizards on Sunday, the Pelicans on Monday, and Trailblazers on Wednesday. Get your tickets at Pacers.com/Gold Friday. That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday.
B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
Casey, it's that time.
It is. It's Tuesday, and every Tuesday at this time, we do a feature we like to call True Crime Tuesday. Catchy title, isn't it?
That's right. Pretty self-explanatory, right? We take a look at an infamous crime case that captivated the attention of the public. And this week, we are turning to our own LaPorte,
Indiana. And with us on the WIBC hotline is Harold Schechter. He has a book out called Hell's Princess about a female serial killer named Belle Gunnis, who was from LaPorte, Indiana. Harold Schechter joins us now. So, Harold, tell us about the book, Hell's Princess.
Well, Hell's Princess is about arguably the most infamous female serial killer in American history, a woman named Belle Gunnis, who was a Norwegian immigrant who came to the United States in the late 1800s. Originally settled in Chicago, got married, and Belle's first husband died under mysterious circumstances.
Oh yeah, it's always the first husband, Harold.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just the first.
She kept going.
So yeah, he went to work one day, very healthy, came home, ate some of Belle's food, and basically immediately died.
Oh.
Now,
for time frame purposes, this was the early 1900s, correct?
Well, this would have been the late 1800s when the first husband died. One thing we could all be grateful for is living at a time when medicine has advanced so much, because back then the state of medical treatment was such that physicians, couldn't tell if somebody had been poisoned or just suddenly dropped dead of whatever.
Yeah.
So there was some suspicion, that Belle's husband had died again, rather mysteriously, given that he was a strapping, healthy guy. But his death was attributed to natural causes. Belle inherited all his insurance money, used it to purchase a farm in LaPorte, Indiana. Got married to another young man who had actually been a boarder with her husband and herself. He also died very shortly under mysterious circumstances.
That's two.
Yeah, number two. He was out in the fields working, came home in the evening, put his boots to dry by the stove, and then, according to Belle's account, when he bent down to pick up his boots, a meat grinder fell from the stove and killed him.
That's three.
That sounds reasonable.
Hey, by the way, real quick, in case before you hop in here, our guest today in True Crime Tuesday is Harold Schechter. He's the author of the book Hell's Princess. It's about female serial killer Belle Gunnis from LaPorte, Indiana.
So, Harold, you mentioned husband number one and husband number two. Was there an unlucky husband number three?
Well, there almost was. Belle used the money from her second husband's death. Well, by then, she had this nice sprawling farm. She had a comfortable bank account from the insurance money from her two mysteriously deceased husbands. But she was not satisfied. She began putting advertisements in Norwegian language newspapers throughout the Midwest, luring lonely Norwegian bachelors to her farm, promising them, that they would enjoy home-cooked Norwegian meals. And there was a prospect that they would be able to marry her and become co-owners of this prosperous farm. So she lured these lonely Midwestern bachelors. She would also make sure to tell them when they came to visit that they brought all their life savings with them.
Should that be a red flag, Harold?
Yeah, you think it would be. But I guess, the prospect of having all that yummy Norwegian food overrode any of their, concerns. So we don't know exactly how many lonely Norwegian bachelors showed up. We do know that they all disappeared very promptly. And, Belle always had an explanation when neighbors asked where these guys had gone. So the third perspective, but then this one guy, again, a Norwegian bachelor, Belle started to correspond with him. He was very interested in her. but he kind of delayed coming over. But she finally persuaded him to come and stay with her with a promise of marriage and co-ownership of the farm. And again, he came with all his money. She always would instruct these people not to tell any family members where they were going. This guy, again, mysteriously disappeared about 2 days after he showed up and deposited all his money in Belle's bank account. But his brother had actually discovered some letters from Belle. Belle and he had and the guy had corresponded for months and months with Belle trying to lure him to the farm. The brother discovered these letters and came to LaPorte to look for the brother. And by that time, so many lonely Norwegian bachelors had disappeared that the law was becoming somewhat suspicious of Belle. She realized that the law was finally on her trail.
She killed too many guys? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, she killed. We don't know exactly how many she killed, but at least 11 of these Norwegian guys disappeared to visit her, maybe more. Anyway, Belle decided that, what happened was as soon as this brother showed up and started poking around, Belle's farmhouse suddenly went up in flames. Belle was inside the farmhouse with her 3 children, and the farmhouse just burnt to the ground. And once the embers had cooled, searchers found the only thing left was the foundation and the cellar. And searchers found in the cellar the burnt torso of a woman, and she was clutching the bodies of the 3 children.
Oh, wow.
So the assumption was that the house suddenly caught on fire. Belle was this heroic mother who had grabbed her kids, tried to escape. The roof collapsed, and they'd all died. The one odd thing about it was the woman, the body of the woman, there was no head.
Oh.
It was just a torso.
Yeah. So that would be a little bit different then than a mother saving her children.
Yes, exactly. But nevertheless, people thought, well, maybe the skull just disintegrated in the fire, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the brother of this guy who had shown up started poking around the farmhouse. He was walking around the yard. He discovered there were these weird soft spots in the ground. And he began digging, and he uncovered the dismembered corpse of his own brother.
Harold Schechter is joining us. He is the author of the book Hell's Princess. So when they dug up the bodies, they found out they hadn't been just poisoned, but that they had been butchered.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
One of the things that I was very interested in the story of Belle is there have been female serial killers. They'll poison people. But Belle, as far as I know, is the only one who would actually butcher the victims.
Yeah.
And so they began digging around the yard, and they uncovered the dismembered remains of, well, they stopped digging at some point, but there were apparently 10, 11, 12 of these men whom she had lured to the farm, poisoned, chopped up, and buried in her yard.
Why was she known as Lady Bluebird?
Lady Bluebeard.
Bluebeard. Why was she known as Lady Bluebeard?
Well, it's a reference to the famous fairy tale, Bluebeard. Bluebeard was this French aristocrat in the fairy tale who would marry women, bring them home to his castle, and then chop up their bodies.
Yeah,
so,
and this seems to be exactly what Belle Gunness did.
Yes, in real life, actually. Absolutely. Well, the main thing is, so Belle suddenly went from being this heroic mother in the press, to being, this mass murderer, this serial killer. I mean, the term serial killer didn't exist back then, but she was regarded as this, monstrous female butcher of men, and but the question became, a lot of people suspected that because the corpse that had been found in the cellar not have a head, many people believed that Belle had lured a woman. Belle was quite a stout woman. She weighed over 200 pounds. That she had lured a woman of her approximate stature to the farm, killed the woman, chopped off her head, and used her as a decoy, and that Belle had actually escaped.
Oh.
So the subtitle of my book is The Mystery of Belle Gunness, Butcher of Men. But part of the mystery, which has never really been resolved, was whether or not Belle actually was that body Belle's, or did Belle escape? And for decades afterwards, people believed that she had indeed escaped. There were various supposed sightings of her. Even to this day, there are researchers trying to establish whether or not.
Yeah, so she may have gotten away with it and with all of the money as well. Harold Schechter, the name of the book is Hell's Princess. It's about Belle Gunness. She stands alone as a rare female serial killer, committed several murders at her farm in LaPorte, Indiana. If anybody would like to read the book, Harold, where can they find a copy of it?
Well, it should be in, the usual bookstores, but, Amazon is always a good place. Actually, Amazon did a Kindle edition that has these animated illustrations. So that's kind of an interesting way to read it.
Yeah, if you want to see drawings of it. Well, we appreciate your time today, and thank you for joining us on True Crime Tuesday.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They seem to be wasting little time. Some sunshine poking out on Monument Circle, 61 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling for Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 10:31. Ukraine may be using American-made missiles on military targets inside Russia already. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
The Ukrainian military claims it hit a Russian weapons stash 70 miles beyond its border. We're told 12 secondary explosions were recorded. Ukraine hasn't confirmed what weapon was used, but Ukrainian media and the Russian Defense Ministry both say US-supplied ATACMS missiles were deployed. Over the weekend, President Biden decided to allow Ukraine to use them on targets deep inside Russia. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Today's SpaceX Starship prototype launch in South Texas is expected to be attended by President-elect Donald Trump. He's anticipated to arrive just before the launch window opens at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. SpaceX founder Elon Musk supported Trump's campaign for president and will be taking a special role in the new administration. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about season's free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know that customers can save up to $250 on Michelin tires.
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it Season's Free Things?
You know, Season's Greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's Season's Free Things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands like Continental. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every Ford tire purchase.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Mark from Danville had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I finished building my new perfect home out of state and needed out of my old place quickly. Plus, to cover the cost of the new home, I needed a big price. The Mark Dietel team was my answer. My home sold in 3 days on the market over my asking price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. It's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Looking for the hottest trends in jewelry this year? Come to Pierce Jewelers and see their Love to Love collection in lab-grown diamond jewelry. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
The phone number, 317-684-8444, if you'd like to contribute with your voicemail with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So yesterday, we had a long discussion about a letter you received about the water at your house, which may or may not have some lead in the pipes.
Yes, unknown pipe material.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing about, so my thing on the letter was, it's clearly written in some sort of legal, non-descriptive mumbo jumbo. And I'm a person who understands government speak better than 99% of the populace. And I'm looking at this going, I have no idea what this actually says. And I've read it several times. And I got to get to the 4th paragraph before I get to the meat and potatoes of what I might be able to guess it is. And then it's just more mumbo jumbo. My point is, you could say it in a paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
If the government is requiring you to send this out, the federal government or state government or whatever, and that we don't think there's any actual harm, but here's the steps we're doing to investigate the process, and then we'll get back to you. But in the meantime, we see no evidence that there is anything. And if you have any questions, just call us here. You could say this in a paragraph and be totally transparent with me, and then I'll know, and any person who understands the written English language would understand this. And then we're done here. Then it's on me. Do I want to call you? Do I want to know more? Great, that's fine. But it's like you're going out of your way. You're telling me something that's clearly important enough that you sent it to my home. Mm-hmm. And I know many other people got this. And yet I, as a person who actually understands this stuff, don't understand it. There's no way a normal person does. And then the guy, not his fault, people schedule vacation when they schedule vacation, but you list a guy that I'm supposed to call on this thing that is clearly referencing lead and everything else, and I send that email, and then the guy's like, yeah, I'll be back Tuesday. That's what's pissing me off. It's a lack of transparency. It's not the thing. Mm-hmm. Things happen. I'm a big boy.
but I'm the head of my family. And as a big boy, just tell me what's going on. Don't try to skirt it or vague it and let me guess. Just tell me and then I'll deal with it.
Okay, so you reached out to Frank.
I did.
And originally you got a bounce back saying he was out of the
That's
office.
Right. But to Frank's credit, Frank did call me very early this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Frank was dreading 7:30 in the morning. But so Frank was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Frank and I talked for probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is some federally mandated thing that they are required to send out, which again, all you would have to do is the town, don't bury it in the letter, put a corresponding letter with it, put it on your website, go talk about it at the council meetings, put it out on the social media. Look, you're going to be getting this letter. If you're home above a certain age, you're going to be getting this letter. We see no reason to panic. We're required to send, all of these things. So that when you get the letter, you're like, okay, this is the thing that they told me about,
Got
right?
it, right.
And I, so it is some federally mandated thing. They're testing homes above a certain age. It's everybody in town who had a home above a certain age in a certain time frame is getting this letter. They have seen no evidence so far that there's any imminent danger to anyone. They'll be outside my house in a certain window of time. The federal government doesn't even think this is pressing because they have until like 2037 to rectify the issue if they find any, which they haven't yet. And they said, here's the steps we're going to take to check it. And I said, Frank, I get that you're the fall guy, right? And he was chuckling. I said, by the way, I bet you've gotten a lot of correspondence. Oh, yeah, a lot of emails and phone calls. And I said, this is my problem. They just send this letter out that no normal person's going to understand. They see lead. They see unknown pipe material. Everybody starts thinking Aaron Brockovich.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just list poor you, and you're not even there that day. I said, do you understand why people are, yeah, I get it. And Frank was very nice, and he was very professional, and we had a long chat, and he answered all of my questions. And that's my thing. When I get it honked off at the government most of the time, sometimes it's the thing. But it's just the deception and dishonesty and lack of transparency. If the federal government's making you do something, make that abundantly clear to everyone in big, bold letters. We are required to do this. Mm-hmm. This is not of our own volition. We don't see any problem with this. We're testing, whatever. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Frank could be the smartest person of all because he knew those letters were going out. He's like, I'm going on vacation.
And I told him, I said, they'll never listen to me. But I said, tell old Big Bad Deb and Lord Travis and the rest of the fun gang over there.
Yeah.
Tell them just speak in English. Just tell people what's going on.
All right. Well, we got a lot of phone calls about your water issue, and here's the first one.
Hey, Rob, I was listening to your show, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight on what I think they're trying to say in the poorly written letter from the water department. I work in the utilities industry, and the part of the infrastructure that runs from your house to the water main or water meter is considered a private homeowner-owned line. So I think they're trying to say, yeah, we know what we've got, but if you would like to know what is in your private service line, what material it's made of, give us a call, and we'll help you out. And I'm sure it's probably at the expense of the homeowner, as usual, but they'll help you determine whether you have lead in your private service line. Hope that helps.
Yes, basically, although he did say that there's a certain thing they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And even he was like, well, the federal government must not think it's that pressing of a
not
thing.
If they're not
2037.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, these are all things that you could just put in there, you know, because he did say, we're looking for something specific. If we find it, we'll let you know. Although he said if they find the thing, they'll fix it.
Okay.
So I don't,
Well, that's good.
And he's like, well, it could take up to 2 years to check everybody's house or whatever.
Do you have an appointment, when they're coming?
Well, because he said, he goes, do you have a crawl space? Which I do. He goes, you could crawl under there and check that. And I said, no. No.
That's what you're for.
He said, well, they drill or there's some way they do it. And I said, okay. So there's not some new discovery that you guys have found. I mean, the letter makes it look like there's something.
Danger.
Some Indiana Jones archaeologist was digging and found some black plague. And he goes, we haven't found any of this thing that they're looking for in any of the homes. I'm sure mine will be the first one. But
like I said, this is all a CYA.
Well, that's my point, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, you would think there would be some sort of, to make the public know, nothing has changed on our end. We're required to do this.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it within a window, and no need to panic. But here's the certified, the letter we're required to. He did. This is what was interesting to me. So he said, because I told him, I said, you realize how poorly this letter is written. And he basically was like, yeah, it's not very well written, And again, he was very nice and very helpful. And he goes, well, the problem is we had to get this letter out because there was a time frame the government required for us to send the letter out. And what I didn't understand was, so you knew you had to send the letter out, and then somebody just sat on it and didn't send the letter out, and then at some point it dawned on somebody,
that date's coming up.
Oh, crap, we got to send this letter out. So I'm not giving you guys a free pass on writing a crappy letter because you're up against some deadline. Y'all knew you had to send the letter out.
You knew it was coming. So yesterday we were talking about how the Pittsburgh Pirates had offered season tickets behind home plate for 30 years in exchange for the Paul Skeens rookie debut patch autograph Topps baseball card. And then Olivia Dunn, Paul Skeens' girlfriend, upped the stakes, and she said, hey, if the person who finds the card gives it to us, they can sit with me at a Pirates game in my suite.
Now, your husband, your man, like Jim, your man, his is I know he's a fan of Ken Golden, the auction guy, Golden Auctions.
Yeah.
Golden Auction dude sent out a thing in response to this that was like, absolutely do not get rid of this card. Like, we will sell it.
It's worth more.
You will make a fortune. Like, he was like, if you find this card, basically like 911.
Olivia Dunn is not worth it.
Unless she's, never mind. It's a family-oriented program.
Thank you. Move along.
Yeah. He was like 911. Do not give away this card to Olivia Dunn.
All right. Well, here's a phone call. This person says we're missing the point on this.
Hey, you're missing the point on the value of that card, man. Doesn't matter if you live in Pittsburgh or not. You put those things on whatever ticket broker. 2 tickets behind home plate are going to go good price every game. You pocket that cash, plus whatever else you get, you can sell or keep for whatever value. Hey, and one of those extra prizes is sitting in the suite with his girlfriend for a game. So, I mean, that's worth it. Well stacked. Yeah, have a good day.
Worth $1 million?
Okay, let's
potentially.
Let's do some math, all right? Because nobody gives two you-know-whats about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
I'm going to bet game day by July, I could get seats behind home plate for $50.
Okay.
All right. So let's just say, but let's aim high, okay?
Okay.
So let's say it was $75 because the Pirates stink, and other than when he's playing, nobody's going to care about the Pirates. But so let's say there are 2 tickets. Let's say there's $75 is the street value of those tickets.
For the pair?
Right, the pair.
Okay.
So that's $150, right?
Yeah.
There's 81 home games. So let's just extrapolate that to 81 home games, okay? 150 times 81 is $12,150. Multiply that by 30, that's $364,500, and it would take you 30 years to accumulate that.
Right.
Let's just say, let's put them at 100 each. 200 times 81 is $16,200 times 30. That's $486,000 that it would take you 30 years to accrue. You're getting screwed.
Well, not only that, but then all of a sudden you've got a job to do.
Right, you got to sell these tickets.
And if you really wanted to cash in and you had that patch card, it's one sale.
Right. Here's what I would do if I were you. Like, I would, if you really wanted to hang out with Olivia Dunn, because there probably is some value to someone with that. I don't know why. It's not like she's remotely interested in you, or any niceties she's going to be giving you are going to be totally fake. I mean, it's not like she's going to
right, because she wants something.
She's about to marry Paul Skeens, okay? You are not Paul Skeens, okay? You are you, right? And you're wonderful in the way that you are you. But anyway, let's say you put a value of that of, I don't know, $50,000 on it. I mean, it's just way too high to hang out with somebody for a day. But let's just put that as the value. Then I would offer it to Paul Skeens for $950,000. I would say, I don't want your stupid tickets. I want cash. And I will give you a $50,000 discount to hang out with your girlfriend for a day, but you don't get to be there. And then $950,000 cash, please.
You don't get to. Well, he'll be on the field.
Yeah.
But even though the offer, not excluding those tickets, but the meet and greet and the softball game with 30 of your closest friends at PNC Park, and more unique experiences.
Oh, that's the part I'd be most interested in.
All right, Hammer's going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's starting to be fall in Indiana, the perfect time to tackle home projects you've been putting off before winter arrives. With Moss Roofing by your side, you don't have to do it alone. They're ready to assist with your roofing and siding needs, ensuring your home is safe and ready for the holidays. Let Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, give your home a serious glow-up with premium James Hardy siding, tough enough to face Indiana's wild weather and stylish enough to turn heads on your block. And the best part, their free inspections come with a 3D design preview so you could see your home's stunning makeover before the work begins. Contact Moss Roofing for a job done right every single time at Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. That's 747-3665. Or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com. And don't forget, tell them Tony Katz sent you.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
We set out to be the very best of the best, and the past couple years we've actually achieved that. For all of the state of Indiana, we've been awarded the Dealer of the Year award twice now. Unlike other brands, that only gets handed to one dealer every year, and we're very proud to have won that twice.
Put the best to work for you at FamilyHVAC.net. Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Join us on Monument Circle for Downtown Indy Inc.'s annual Circle of Lights, presented by IBEW 481 on November 29th. Go to downtownindy.org/holidays to learn more.
Gave a girl a ride in the wagon.
From the number one rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer's in the studio. Good morning.
I got a lot of problems with you people. And now you're going to hear about it.
Okay.
So, I was listening to your program earlier today, as I do when I'm, getting ready to, get the day rolling.
Thank you.
Coming home from dropping the kids off and all that kind of stuff. And I heard you guys talking about how maybe, just maybe, you're going to go to this fancy schmancy
That's right.
GOP event, right?
Yeah.
Governor's Ball.
Well, we have to get invited,
Yeah,
or somebody has to give us tickets
we haven't been
first.
invited yet.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're kind of wanting to go. So I feel like I'm at my Bluto moment in Animal House where I'm about to stand up. Hey, what's all this crap?
Yeah.
What happened to the Delta House I used to know?
Yeah.
What happened to you guys saying, screw you guys, I don't want to be a part of this?
Well, I know I've been very candid. Anne Hathaway is putting on the event, and she hates me and says mean things to people about me all the time. So I want to be there just to show her it's a new day, and I'm here, and you can eat it, lady. That's primarily why I want to go. I mean, it's the same spirit of what I've always had.
I don't believe you.
Oh, totally,
I think
100%.
you got a little taste of this thing because Micah's your guy, and now, all of a sudden, you're dragging Casey into the swamp.
Yeah.
So,
Wait.
Hold on.
I just want a new dress.
Hold on. Let me just lay this out, then you can respond. Kevin, hit my music. One of the course of human events becomes brought to my attention that a once proud man from Brownsburg who hated all of these people is now debating about what suit to wear to go impress these butt sniffers. It's time to make a stand.
Uh-oh.
We're at the point now where I don't know where Rob Kendall's nose begins and the GOP's ass ends. And you're bringing Casey into this. And as for you, woman, I expected more out of you. I expect Rob Kendall to be a weasel. I expect Rob Kendall to be a backstabbing son of a you-know-what. But I thought you had integrity. Now you're trying on dresses. And if that's not bad enough, you're dragging Kevin into this.
That's true.
And that is where I draw the line. There comes a point in time where you have to stand up for your values and say, not today, Bal, not today.
Oh, wow. I feel dirty all of a sudden. Well, here's the deal. Braun always was my guy, though, and I was very clear and upfront with that from the get-go. Before even the state convention, I said on the air, I think Braun and Beckwith has a good ring to it.
I'm not saying he's not your guy, but I think we all had kind of an understanding that if given the opportunity to go to a fancy fundraiser or stay home and gamble on a MAC football game on a Wednesday night, sign us up for option B.
Yeah.
And now we're trying on dresses. We're trying to get an extra ticket for Kevin. Come on, what are we doing?
I'm not paying any money for this, though.
Right.
I mean, I'm not giving them anything.
What if we just want to go?
You never pay for anything. That's not anything new.
I mean,
we're the cheapest man alive.
If they're like, we will not let you go unless you give us money, then I will absolutely refuse to do that.
What if we just go and point fingers and laugh?
If they invited me and said, "Here's a free table," I'd give it to my son who likes this stuff.
What if we get you a ticket too? You
No.
Do you own a suit?
We'll load up. We'll party.
I like some of these dudes. I like Braun. I like Micah. There are some good people at the State House. But if given the opportunity to hang out with them for a night or do the total opposite, sign me up for
Do you need a suit? Do you own a suit? I've never seen you wear a suit.
I wore a suit to the wedding we went to, which you did not.
Was that a suit?
It was a jacket, a blazer, and a nice shirt.
There's no tie.
Counts as
I have the tie. You wore like the Minnesota head coach outfit. You were a row your boat guy at somebody's wedding.
We'll take all of this under consideration, Hammer. As of currently, we're not invited and we don't have tickets.
That's right.
Good. Stand your ground.
Okay.
Don't go hang out with these butt sniffers.
Would you like to promote your show?
I'd like to promote our podcast that we have coming out later on today, New Degenerates Next Door, and then the Hammer and Nigel Show, 3:06 this afternoon. Jeff Boggs, not Kenny Rogers, in studio with us.
Thank you for the dressing down. It is Kendall and Casey.
It's done out of love.
It's 93 WIBC.
This Christmas, 5,000 children in central Indiana are depending on Angel Tree to put gifts under their Christmas tree. We need your help to make this happen, so we're making it easy to participate right from home. Angels can be sponsored online by visiting the Salvation Army Central Indiana website. Choose your angel, buy their gifts, and return them to the Salvation Army by December 6th. Learn more at sacentralindiana.org/angeltree.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
Bee's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what some Democrats are saying after yesterday's leadership vote at the State House in light of a few new claims, plus what some people found in their mailboxes up in Goshen that wasn't exactly sightly, and Thanksgiving is bound to be a busy travel day, as you might expect. John Herrick has the details. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
FEMA is under scrutiny in the House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
FEMA's focus should remain on helping communities respond to and recover from natural disasters.
Republican Sam Graves is the first of two House hearings today probing
political initiatives like exacerbating the crisis at the southern border, climate change, or picking and choosing which homes to canvass based on political signs.
But FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell just told lawmakers responding to Hurricanes Milton and Helene.
We help all survivors, all people, obtain all of the assistance that they are qualified for under the law. And misinformation was making that work much more difficult.
For the 1,000th day, Russia's war against Ukraine rages.
Putin is focused on winning this war. He will not stop on his own.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky at Europe's parliament this morning asking for more military help as Russia claims 6 missiles Ukraine launched today targeting Russian weapon storage were the American long-range missiles President Biden authorized over the weekend, prompting Russia's leader Vladimir Putin to sign a new doctrine today, allowing him to use nuclear weapons if a nuclear power like the U.S. is involved in an attack using conventional weapons. This as the AP reports Iran is upping the nuclear ante, boosting its stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels. At the summit of G20 nations today, President Biden pledged $4 billion to the World Bank Fund for poor countries.
I urge us to keep faith and keep going.
Speaking to G20 leaders at his final summit in office, President Biden also said the world must not back away from investing in clean energy.
This is the single greatest existential threat to humanity if we do not deal with climate change.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern reporting. Meanwhile, we're just getting news that President-elect Trump, Fox has learned, is going to nominate Howard Lutnick as Commerce Secretary. Lutnick is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Staying put despite the accusations. Radar is clear. It's mostly cloudy and 61 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Greg Taylor is once again the state Senate Minority Leader. He was reelected by his fellow Democrats to that role yesterday, beating out State Senator Andrea Hunley.
While I'm disappointed by the outcome of our caucus leader election, I'm committed to ensuring that changes are made and that Leader Taylor is held accountable. It is unacceptable for anyone to experience harassment or exploitation.
Hunley referring to the sexual harassment accusations against Taylor, which came out before yesterday's vote was taken. In Clinton County,
the Indiana State Police Lafayette District Criminal Investigation Division is investigating an incident that concluded in an officer-involved shooting. No officers were injured during the event.
State Police Sergeant Jeremy Pierce, who says it was a murder suspect out of Ohio who was shot by state troopers. The woman refused to stop and even fired a shot at troopers during a chase before she was shot at a gas station near Frankfort. Flyers for the Ku Klux Klan were found in neighborhoods in Goshen this week. Kentucky-based Trinity White Knights of the KKK have claimed responsibility for the flyers that were found Monday morning. Goshen Mayor Gina Leichty saying that the city stands united against any form of discrimination, intimidation, or harassment. A record number of people are supposed to travel for this Thanksgiving holiday. John Herrick reports.
As for how
how that pertains to Hoosiers, well, they would much rather drive than fly, says AAA spokeswoman Christina Griffiths.
So we're seeing those lower gas prices, so that's making things a little easier for drivers too. Flights are not necessarily cheaper than they were last year. They're actually a little bit higher.
She says 1.9 million Hoosiers will travel 50 miles or more across Thanksgiving week, and that's a 2.4% increase from 2023. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Number 6 Purdue squaring off with number 15 Marquette on the hardwood this evening, and their first true road game. The Boilers are coming off an upset of Alabama on Friday. Tip-off tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, designers of fine jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 19th. It is 5 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So yesterday, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said you have to quit counting undated and misdated mail-in ballots. They sided with the Republicans and reiterated that many of the votes were not valid.
This is it's the brazenness of it. And by the way, seeing what's going on in Pennsylvania right now, and you don't want to think there were shenanigans that took place in 2020, look at what's going on brazenly, like right out in the open, like they're admitting they're doing. There is no dispute about what's happening. There is no dispute. So if you are not following, this is such an important issue, not because ultimately the outcome of the election is going to be changed, but because the Democrats are admitting that they are doing this. There's no dispute whether what's going on. So the Trump election is not in doubt. But what is still within, it was close enough that it triggered an automatic recount, is that U.S. Senate race. Now, every media outlet under the sun now has called this Senate race for McCormick the Republican.
Yeah, and Bob Casey still has not conceded.
The only person who's not called it for McCormick is Bob Casey, the incumbent senator who he's running against. Right. But all these liberal, mainstream media outlets, they've all called it for McCormick. There is no doubt. Even Schumer invited McCormick to be a part of Senate orientation. That is not in dispute. It's like a 20,000 vote difference. But what is happening is, in Pennsylvania, one of the few restrictions on their ballots that their state Supreme Court upheld was that the ballot had to be dated properly. That it had to be, there's a form on the outside, and they made very clear, this was a ruling before Election Day, was that if you're going to, and by the way, if you can't properly fill out an absentee ballot, then go vote in person. If you're that stupid that you can't follow 3 or 4 instructions, then go vote in person or your vote doesn't deserve to count. And so they were getting these, in select counties, they were getting these ballots that either had incorrect dates, which again, how stupid do you have to be, or didn't have dates on them at all. And the Supreme Court was very clear, these ballots are not to count. Well, these election people in these Democrat counties came out and said, yeah, we know they said not to count it,
but we're going to do it anyway.
And so the Republicans went back to the state Supreme Court and said, you guys made this ruling. They're clearly violating what you're saying. And the Supreme Court came out again yesterday and said, yes, absolutely. We're not going through the lower courts on this. We gave you a direct ruling. Stop counting these ballots. And the Democrat people on these election boards are like, no, we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Like they were told, because their argument was, well, it's not enough to alter the outcome of the election, so we're going to go anyway. Doesn't matter. These people voted. And the Supreme Court said, no, you're not going to do that. And they keep saying, yes, we are going to do this.
So this is happening in Philadelphia, Montgomery, and also Bucks counties. And so John Fetterman came out. And if you think that John Fetterman has changed and is now more central or becoming a little bit more conservative, guess what? Don't fall for it.
You know, the issue here is not whether McCormick's going to be a U.S. Senator. He is going to be a U.S. Senator. It is, for 4 years, we have heard from people going, oh, you conspiracy theorists. Oh, you shock jocks. Oh, you people are just making stuff up. You're threats to democracy. You're fascists. You're This is why, if you recall, in 2020, the Pennsylvania, I believe it was the Senate, was begging the United States Congress not to certify the election, begging Mike Pence, do not certify this election because of crap like this. They said they have changed so many election laws illegally in this state. We have no check and balance on this. We have no idea what happened. And you're seeing it happen out in the, do we have this audio of Fetterman being told it's happening and he just basically goes, who cares?
Yeah, we do. Here it is.
The Washington Post editorial board called that, quote, corrosive to democracy, unquote, and said, quote, county officials do not get to decide whether a legal requirement is material and must be followed. Courts do, and they have spoken clearly, unquote. What's your take? What's your response to that Democratic official deliberately announcing that they're going to defy court orders and count these provisional ballots?
Well, again, I'm not going to chase every kinds of quotes, things like that, because I think you just pointed out that it refers to about 115 ballots, and that's not going to have an impact on this race at this point. So where we are now? It's very, very close.
So pretty much, who cares? It's only 115.
Yeah, you break the law if it doesn't matter to me is exactly what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we were right. There were all sorts of shenanigans that took place in 2020. There's no way Joe Biden got 81 million legal votes. Nobody with a firing synapse in their brain believes that. It's becoming more and more clear. Trump probably may have even won the popular. Screw the election. Trump may have won the popular. This is Pennsylvania that we're talking about. Think about how bad it is in California.
Are they still counting?
Are they still Arizona, Georgia? All these places, I think, are still counting. It's 2 weeks ago.
Right. I mean, that's ridiculous.
So
Florida's recounted just for fun.
Yeah.
Many times.
The real winners are of this, the people who have been called all sorts of names the past 4 years for talking about all the things that it appears took place. And the Democrats are basically admitting, yeah, that's what's going on.
And Fetterman, like, how about that guy changing back and forth? He's like Jekyll and Hyde, right? One minute you think he's a little bit more conservative or a little bit more center. And then he just falls right back in line with the Democrats.
No,
it's only 115.
He's a total liberal.
Doesn't
matter. He will do things that he thinks are productive to his personal reelection chances. I mean, clearly he knows he's in a swing state. He knows that he can't go out and be super left, but he's telling you what's going on. They're cheating. They're admitting they're cheating, and he just goes, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's talk about Ann Seltzer. You remember this person? She was that renowned pollster. Known for leading the Des Moines Register Iowa poll.
That's right. Got it wrong.
Got it severely wrong. She was once considered the gold standard of pollsters. She predicted that Kamala would win Iowa by 3%, and Harris ultimately lost by 13%.
Yes, that's correct.
That's a 16-point swing and a miss.
That's way off. That's not even off. That's way off.
She has resigned.
Oh, she quit.
Yeah. I mean, after such a great loss, that seems about right.
My favorite thing was, didn't she say something like, I had always intended to quit after this election anyway?
Of course. That was always my intent. She said that polling is a science of estimation, and apparently the science didn't track this time.
No, it didn't track for you, lady, because you were a hack, right? It did. I mean, look, people can say the polling was off, and to some extent it was, but it wasn't. Because what I mean by that is all of these polls were within the margin of error. This wasn't 2016 or even 2020 where they were way, way off. Like Trump did outperform the polls, but there's a reason they call it margin of error. I actually don't have, other than people who are just hacksters like her, I don't have that big a problem with the polling, because the polling is an estimated guess, and that's why they say margin of error. And if you look at where all the kind of the main polls were and where Trump ended up, it's totally within the margin of error. I don't have any problem with that. The ones that it's like this one and the ones that are 4, 5, 6% off are the ones. If a poll's a point off, that's not bad. That's not a conspiracy. I think the pollster, I think two things happened this election cycle. One, I think more people answered the phone and honestly answered about how they were going to vote. Mm-hmm. I think people were sick of the crap and just said, I'm voting for Trump. And two, I think they got better at identifying who the Trump voter was. And I think the polls, by and large, reflected within the margin of error, which is fine, the way the election was going to go.
She said that she wished her final poll had aligned more closely with the actual election outcome.
Oh, bull.
She found it ironic that the opposite happened.
There's no way when she got those results back, if she had an ounce of decency, she wouldn't have gone, now, wait a second. Did I make a mistake here? Did I get the wrong people? There's no way. I mean, it wasn't like she had Kamala even up 3, which nobody believed. Or, I mean, that she had like Kamala down 3, which still wasn't reflective of overwhelming polls. She had Kamala up 3. Mm-hmm. It was like there's no planet where this is happening. There's no, and instead of going, okay, I made some mistake here, let's just put this in our pocket and pretend it didn't happen. Let me figure out what I did and let me take another stab at it. They put it out there. And they did it as a campaign tool.
Right. It seemed like a false flag.
She was standing behind it. Like, oh, yeah, it's fine. It's the gold standard of polling. All right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so something else that happened is Charles Barkley came out, and I don't know if you saw this, but he just completely went off on Democrats complaining about losing.
And I just want to say this to the Democrats, which I'm an independent who voted Democratic. Do me this favor. Shut the up. When you win, you get to say what you want to. When you lose, you need to shut the hell up. Oh, President Biden, they didn't get him out the race soon enough. Kamala didn't do this. We lost because we had no game plan. We still haven't solved the immigration problem, have no viable answers, never addressed inflation, bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? Hey, I love Beyonce. What's bringing her out? That ain't gonna make me vote a certain way. Cardi B, I like Cardi B. That ain't gonna make me vote a certain type of way. You guys lost because y'all stupid.
Okay, so a couple things with this. Shall we explore? First of all, I don't believe for a second he's an independent, because he just reeled off all the things they were doing wrong, and then he still voted for her. So clearly, if you were an independent and you're a Democrat, that's fine. But let's say what you are. You are a Democrat. If you voted for Kamala Harris, you're as Democrat as you can be. The second thing is, he's right, and this is what's fascinating to me is, this started in 2004, if you remember, when it was called the Concert for Change, or Concerts for Change. It was Kerry and Bush. That race was believed to be very close. And like in September, they came out and said, we were going to take these megastars. It was Springsteen. It was R.E.M. Maybe Pearl Jam was in on it. It was like these mega groups, and we're going to put them in these large arenas around. They were doing their own concerts, but all the money's going to go to Kerry. So, like, if you're going to this thing and paying money to see Springsteen and the E Street Band, or John Fogerty was a part of it, and there were, all these other people, where your money's going. So proceed accordingly. It didn't work. Bush won, right? Bush won with relative ease. And every year since, because then it was Obama didn't win because megastars were behind him. Obama ran because, what do we say, the Republicans? Our ass. John McCain was a horrible candidate. The only person remotely excited people was Sarah Palin, and they dumped all over her. And he was a horrible candidate. That's why Obama won. And then the Republicans had so much fun with that one, they said, let's do it again with Romney, because they basically nominated the same unlikable, out-of-touch person twice, and Obama won twice. It wasn't because people went out and played concerts for him or movie stars were behind him, because then they did it for Hillary, and she lost. Obviously, 2020 was its own thing, and then they did it for Kamala, and she lost. People don't vote based on celebrities.
No, those are seat fillers.
It is.
They're to get people to the crowd to try and make it look
But you know what's
like people are
crazy?
motivated.
At least with the original Concert for Change, they were like, this is a fundraiser. All this money's going to Kerry. We're making money off of this. When you see what they paid those people, they lost money. They lost money having those people perform.
Well, and now it's come out that Harris didn't pay Oprah $1 million. It was $2.5 million.
Yeah, I just think it's just a total misread of the times and where we're at. And people are way more apt to vote based on the Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan people than they are these Robert De Niro, Oprah, Springsteen, Taylor Swift, Cardi B, Beyonce. I'm sure I'm missing some people somewhere.
Usher.
Yes.
Another one.
Usher.
All of them.
But he does have the moves to make your booty go smack.
And on that note, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
President-elect Trump has a new cabinet pick, Sean Duffy, to be Transportation Secretary.
93 WIBC.
Much colder temperatures on the way.
Chance of snow.
Could pick up minor accumulations.
Hear the news.
Gas prices to trend downward.
Several counties, the average is below $3 a gallon.
Another news update is minutes away.
10-0 Indiana Hoosier football team plays second-ranked Ohio State.
Head football coach Kurt Signetti
will be at full strength for the game.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Have you compared your options during Medicare open enrollment? Plans change each year, and so can your health. That's why it's so important to compare this year and make sure your drugs are covered. At Medicare.gov, you can easily compare all your options. Find a better plan, save some money, or both. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your tickets starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing, and many times the holidays are when sewer stoppages must be dealt with, and the best of the best for that job is LD Smith Plumbing. They have the perfect equipment and the right people to clean your drains, or help you replace them if they're uncleanable because they're broken down. Best of all, they'll fix your sewer drains with modern piping that will last for decades to come. They clean up the dirty and stinky jobs with plumbing solutions that work. Find them online at ldsmithplumbing.com. That's ldsmithplumbing.com.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home also in a safe fashion is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they were doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
She said, I want to learn a love song full of happy things.
Donald Trump confirmed plans to declare a national emergency and use the military to carry out mass deportations of undocumented immigrants. Many governors, not many, but some governors have said that they're not going to follow those rules, specifically ones in Illinois. It's part of Trump's campaign promise to deport millions of undocumented immigrants, illegals. It could affect around 11 million.
Yeah, and we'll get into this. But first, can we just point out, and he doesn't get enough credit, but Kevin has not only played Sammy John's Chevy van, but now he's done Harry Chapin's I Want to Learn a Love Song today. So
I thought it was going to be Cat Stevens Day.
Well, he did some Cat Stevens earlier, too. So sometimes Kevin fails epically with the presentation of this program. But there are days where he really... he really does get it right, and so...
I'm just trying to go for a variety, and I hope you relish all these moments.
It does. It makes people feel better. Yeah. Okay, so the number one thing Donald Trump is going to have to do is to solve and reshape illegal immigration in this country. And I had a conversation yesterday. There is a new neighborhood in Brownsburg, and I had a conversation with a person who is a esteemed member of the community, and we were having this exact conversation about how not only is the mass wholesale illegal immigration, which has overwhelmed the country, 15 million or whatever the number is since Biden took office, not only is that as a crisis point, but this way they have finagled people into this country and allowed them status to stay here is reshaping this country every bit as much as the illegal immigration. Because with the illegal immigration, theoretically, you catch the person, you can throw them out. These TPS and the other status of people that they're here, right? They are remaking communities, and they're smiling at you. And what I was having this conversation was there is a new neighborhood that has popped up in town, one of the many high-density housing developments, but these infinitely stupid people who run our community have allowed to go up. And it was a similar conversation to what I had with this Central Indiana school superintendent last year, who was talking about how we are being overwhelmed in our school system by these, in many cases, they're legal migrants, people who are legally here. And this person was saying, I walked the neighborhood and I was driving through and I'm looking at the makeup of the neighborhood, and I was floored by what he saw, because the conversation I've said is if you go to your local Walmart in Central Indiana, whether you live in Brownsburg or you live in Avon or you live in Fishers or wherever, if you go to your local Walmart, that Walmart is going to look markedly different than it did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that is the judge of the community. You can always judge a community, like, what does the makeup of the Walmart look like? And so this person said, I was driving through this neighborhood just to see the houses, see what was available, see how they looked. And I stopped and started talking to this guy who was out watering his plants. And he said, before I could even get the words out, he turns around and goes, migrants.
Oh.
They're migrants. And what he was saying is the people who are protected status in this country, like, he didn't even have to get the word out. It's a guy just watering his plants, and he stops and goes up to him, and the guy tells him, he goes, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. And this is happening. It's not just LaPorte, right? It's all over the place, where these people who have been given essentially citizenship, they're not legally U.S. citizens, but they're other than voting, they're afforded all the same rights and privileges and government assistance and everything else This problem for Trump is way bigger. Tom Homan can kick all 15 million out that have come here illegally, and I hope he does. I hope they do this. I hope the military's involved in it. I hope they run every single one of these people who has broke our laws out of this country. But the issue is so much bigger than just the people who are breaking the law, because they've made it too easy to not only get into the country, but then stay in the country and reshape these communities.
Trump's plan also includes ending the parole program for a lot of them from countries like Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, also Venezuela.
That's it. It's got to go. All of this stuff is got. I was reading an article yesterday about this whole program and how it got started. And I can't remember. It may have been The Hill. I think it was The Hill. And it was about the history of the program itself. And this program started in the 1990s. I think it may have actually been 1990, around El Salvadorian migrants. Because what was going on, as usual, we were funding both sides of the equation. We were funding the death squads in that country. And we said, ooh, these guys have gotten kind of out of control, right? Like they've properly executed the mission, which is seek, kill, destroy the bad actors. But now they're taking everyone out. So we said, well, we'll let these people come into this country, and we will give them this status, right? And ever since people then figured out, well, hey, they let it go with these guys, we can make a case we're under the same circumstances as these El Salvadorian migrants, and they have just flooded and overwhelmed the country and abused a system that was designed and set in place for a very specific group of people, who many of those El Salvadorian migrants, by the way, still in the country. From the original amnesty or whatever you want to call it that they were given, protected status, they're still here all these years later. Nothing's going on there that was going on when they came here, but they're still here abusing the spirit of the system.
They're still here, and now they have families and children. Of
course.
Which is something else that's going to have to be addressed. So you mentioned Tom Homan, border czar. Here he is laying out his top 3 priorities as border czar.
A lot of people have wondered, how is this going to work? So how will it work?
Well, look, I think the president's been clear on the stage. As far as the deportation operation, we will prioritize public safety threats and national security threats, because they're the biggest. They pose the biggest danger to the United States. He's got 3 rails. So we'll do the deportation operation with the priorities I just talked to you out of the gate. That'd be the priorities. Second thing is secure that border. Lock that border down and catch and release and secure the border. The third rail is we got over 300,000 missing children. Over 500,000 children have been trafficked into the United States. This administration released them to unvetted sponsors, and they can't find 300,000 of them. And based on my 3.5 decades, some of these children are in forced labor. We already found some in forced labor. Some are in forced sex trafficking. Some are living with pedophiles. We need to save these children. That's going to be the third rail.
Okay, so who has the children, who trafficked them, and who are the customers? And something else to consider, there was no problem keeping track of whether or not you had the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
But,
right.
they can't keep track of all of these illegals?
They can, and we'll find out if they want to. And he campaigned on it, and if he doesn't fix it, then the Republicans are going to be in big trouble.
All right, you've got an event coming up that we're going to discuss.
I do.
And also a concert coming to town that we want to let everybody know about. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It may get tossed. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Prosecutors in President-elect Trump's New York criminal hush money case are set to tell the court any moment how they think things should proceed after the election. Last week, the judge delayed ruling on Trump's argument for presidential immunity following his election win. They may be close to a ceasefire in the Middle East. Fox's Jared Halpern.
A U.S. envoy says a ceasefire to infighting between Hezbollah and Israel is within our grasp following meetings in Lebanon. Amos Hochstein, who is leading the Biden administration's diplomatic efforts in Israel and Lebanon, says Hezbollah allies in Lebanon's government are responding positively to a proposal that would likely withdraw both Hezbollah and Israeli forces out of a UN buffer zone. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. We love Life Church. They've had such an amazing impact on my life, on my family's life over the years, and we're heading into the Thanksgiving season, and I know one of the things we are thankful for is Life Church. They're warm, they're welcoming,
They would love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. I know, meet them all the time at church. See it for yourself. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain. Campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. You know, Christmas season is right around the corner, and this year, give yourself a gift. How about that? You take care of other people, give yourself a gift of getting your confidence back, and that could be with the trip to We Grow Hair Indy. Here's how it works. You call today, 317-522-2995. That's very easy, right? 317-522-2995, and you schedule a totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. When you do that, Darren and the gang, top notch all the way. First class A+ individuals, they're going to take a look at the top of your head, and they're going to see what's going on and then give you some suggestions on how to get your confidence back. And then you make the choice. It's all up to you. In the meantime, you can see some other people who made that choice to go to We Grow Hair Indy by heading over to their website, WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com. But you got to get everything rolling. And to do that, you schedule that totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation by calling today, 317-522-2995, 317-522-2995, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
What does the joy of Christmas mean to you? A gift? Time with family? Decorations and traditions? At Shepherd Community, the joy of Christmas is learning to read, feeling safe and loved, finding a stable job, and having a community that cares. Shepherd gives its neighbors gifts of joy and hope for a brighter future. You can give the joy of Christmas to neighbors living in poverty, not just at the holidays, but all year long. Visit caringatchristmas.org/give. That's caringatchristmas.org/give.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Diamonds Direct's biggest and most spectacular sale of the year is starting now. For the first time, it's bigger than ever. Take 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, everything to make this holiday sparkle. This weekend, we're decking the halls with an expanded selection and top designers' appearances in the store. 20% off now through Sunday. Skip the Black Friday madness this year with Diamonds Direct. Open all weekend. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
See Pierce Jewelers' breathtaking selection of lab-grown diamonds, refined to perfection and value. It's the new choice in diamonds. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
So what becomes of you, my love, when they have finally stripped you off?
Rod Stewart coming to Indiana in 2025. What? Yeah. What do you mean, what? You didn't know?
I didn't know that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love Rod Stewart.
Part of his One Last Time tour. He's going to be at Ruoff Music Center in Noblesville Saturday, August 9th. Tickets go on sale Friday, November 22nd at 10 a.m.
Now, I got screwed out of an encore the last time we went because they shut him down because he played too late. But I'm in on this. My mother will be ecstatic. She loves Rod Stewart.
So many good songs.
When's he coming? When is it?
It is August 9th.
Of next year.
Yeah,
I'm in on
2025.
that. Totally, 100%.
Okay, Ruoff.
Handbags and Glad Rags.
Yes.
One of the great ones. You had an incredible cover of Downtown Train.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, all the Rod Stewart hits, Forever Young. Oh, goodness. And I love
You're
that
in my heart. Tonight's the night.
Rod Stewart's wives look exactly the same.
He had 3 wives.
Yeah, and they all look exactly the same.
8 kids, I believe.
And they are some weird, commune thing where they all get together and like each other on holidays. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing.
Hey, I wanted to give you time to talk about the event that you have coming up, and that is a toast to Moselle Sanders.
Yeah, Moselle Sanders. Yes, it's the so it's a celebrity bartender thing. It's me. It's some of the other radio stations. I think Sean Copeland's in on this, and Jake Query, and some other underachievers from the other radio stations. We're doing celebrity bartending. And it's Thursday night, 6:30 at Hi-Fi, and you can show up. You can get the tickets at the events page at WIBC.com, and we're making drinks. We each have our own special drink. I'm appropriately enough doing the Dirty Shirley.
What's a Dirty Shirley?
Well, it's named after several girls I dated in Broad Ripple over the years, and it's got. Because they were like, here's your list of drinks you can choose from. It took me about 2 seconds. Dirty
next
Shirley.
year you'll make the Big Booty Judy.
And so it's got little grenadine in it, a little honey Tennessee whiskey from Jack Daniels, cherry, all sorts of good
Club
stuff.
soda.
Yeah, club soda. So I'll
Served
be making
over
that.
ice,
and then it's so we're doing that we're going to try to raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people. And so that's Thursday night, 6:30, Hi-Fi. Come hang out with us and get your tickets and more information at the events page at WIBC.com.
All right, sounds good.
Cue up that Rod Stewart, Kev.
26% of younger people recently bought their homes with help from mom and dad. And we're going to talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Tonight on the Tony Kinnett Cast, we break out the pearls for just a beautiful display of pearl clutching over the most mundane of Trump appointment picks. Here at 7 p.m. or the podcast anytime.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your ticket starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about seasons free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know that customers can save up to $250 on Michelin tires.
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a Phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it seasons free things?
You know, season's greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's seasons free things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands like Continental. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every 4 tire purchase.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place is a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Absolute Comfort. Chris Wedekin is the owner, and he says working for a glass house builder has made them experts at heating and cooling.
When the sun comes up on one side and sets on the other, the demand is much larger on one side at one part of the day and much larger on the other side of one part of the day. So with zoning, we can solve your issues.
Make your home absolutely comfortable by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
We've seen that sleep apnea bully stop breathing more than 100 times an hour. But this problem is solvable, and Advent has simple solutions that have been proven to be extremely effective.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. Yes, surprise, surprise, surprise. Well, surprise, surprise.
Rob, I don't know if you've noticed, but housing costs, they're a little high right now.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to inflation and artificially messing with money, and the government's just done a heck of a job the past 5 years. And thanks to all that, now homes are unaffordable for many people.
Yeah, especially people Kevin's age or first-time home buyers.
Oh, yeah, Kevin.
But 26% of young people say they recently bought a home and they did it using family money. Mom and dad coming to the rescue.
All right, so let's walk through this, right? Because on the surface, you would say, oh, going to mommy and daddy to save you. But if you're mommy and daddy,
yeah,
and you have the choice of my kid is going to live with me, my adult kid is going to live with me, or I could just give them this money and then they don't live with me and then at least they have equity or whatever in something, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's actually not a bad move if you don't have the stones to tell your kid you're an adult, get lost.
Right? You mean if you love your children and you want them to have a safe place to live that's not in your basement?
However you'd like to word it. I remembered, this is one of the things I think that we make a mistake in society is that parents just don't tell their kids at a certain point, get lost.
Yeah.
Like you're an adult.
Mhm.
You're a grown-ass individual, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, so I distinctively remember my dad coming to me. I would have been, like 22 years old or whatever.
Mhm.
And he didn't phrase it like this, but basically like, you're old enough.
Mhm.
You're an adult.
Mhm.
You own a business, right? Because my first couple of years I owned my business.
Yeah.
I had no expenses. I was like Ari Gold in Entourage, right? Like it was, what do I do with all this money? And then at some point my dad's like, wait a second. He's making all this money. Why are you still living here?
Down payment on a house.
Why are you still bothering me? And he basically said in a very direct but nice way, like, you're an adult now.
Mhm.
It's time for you. My dad always used phrases like consider. It's time for you to consider.
Right.
If my dad said I should consider something, that means I should do it.
That was the soft sell.
And whatever, 22 or whatever, 23, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, he was like, it's time for you to consider getting a place of your own.
You know what my parents did? They took me up to East Lansing, Michigan when I got my first full-time radio job. And then they moved to Dallas, Texas. They said, all right, she's good. We out of here.
Look, I get that things are really expensive and to an extent. So like when I bought my radio station, I was only living here 1 or 2 weeks a month. Financially, it made 0 cents for me
to have a place.
And when I was here, I wasn't home a whole lot anyway. I was out hanging out with my friends or whatever. So my dad was like, that's fine, until you figure out exactly what you're going to do. Are you going to live down in North Carolina full time? Are you going to, stay here full, whatever you're doing? You can air quote move back home. But I wasn't like living at home in the sense of like I was paying for all my own stuff. I was only there 1 or 2 weeks. But I think one of the mistakes we make as a society, parents do, and I'm thinking this now as a parent myself, is you have to let go of your kids and
very hard.
You got to tell
very
them at
hard.
some point, like now there are some people, like there are many people, and it's fine, who, especially as their parents get older, have an arrangement where I live at home. I help take care of my mother or my father. It's more beneficial for them financially. It makes sense if I don't want them on their own. All of those sorts of things. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm talking about is if you're a 25-year-old person, I think we need to cut the cord at some point because I think it makes people better to say, oh, well, yeah, things are expensive. Vote differently. Or go get another job, right? Like I get it. It's hard to get ahead. It's really hard to get ahead in society right now. But the answer is to get pissed off at the people who have made it hard to get ahead and get those people out of your way.
Yeah.
And if you got to get a second. Like I've worked 2 jobs multiple times in my life.
Jim and I have had many conversations with our daughter about this. And, she has lamented how expensive things are and said, I'm never going to be able to afford a house. And we tell her, when we used to go shopping, we would look at all the nice, pretty dishes. And we thought one day if we worked really hard, we would be able to afford those dishes. But until then, we're using the old ugly ones from 1970. That's just the way it is. So we're trying to instill in her that with a little hard work and to your message, vote the proper way, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to afford a house.
I realize that I probably sound like a very callous individual with that segment, but one of the best things that happened for me was
someone forcing you to grow up.
Right. I mean, it's like
take accountability for yourself.
Obviously, if someone's in dire need or there's some sort of horrible thing that happens, obvious as a parent, you bail them out, you help them. But we are really coddling our society now to the point of where, yeah, you might have to work a second job, or you know what, get some roommates or whatever, right? I mean, it's not. We have acted as though that this is the 1930s Depression era Dust Bowl now, and it's not.
A lot of people are asking for cash instead of traditional wedding gifts or baby gifts, and that's another option. You see these young people who are spending all of this money on big weddings.
Yeah,
save that money and use it towards a house.
Oh, totally.
Have a wedding in your backyard like you did.
Absolutely. I did my wedding for under $500.
Right.
How about that?
Instead of spending all of this money on a meal for people, just, save that money. But a lot of people are boomeranging back to their family house to save money, back with mom and dad. And there's near record shares of men and women aged 25 to 34 who are living with their parents. That number has increased.
There is some merit, or a lot of merit in some cases, to people, older people, which is, I think, a rising number as well. People in their 50s or even 60s saying, hey, I'm going to move in, especially if they're single, they're not married, whatever, with my aging elderly parent, because it keeps them out of having to go to assisted living. You know, there are a lot of high-functioning older adults who just need somebody there in case there were to, you know, heaven forbid, be a fall or whatever, that there's somebody there to help them or take care of them or drive them around or whatever. And that does make sense. But my goodness, the years out here is the way I always looked at it. And this, as so much of my life was driven by women. And I always looked at it as, you're 25 years old and you meet someone, hey, would you like to come home and meet my parents? Well, I just met you, 3 hours ago. It seems a little formal, right?
Yeah.
No, I live with my parents.
No, that's
I mean, how does that
where the
work? How
magic
does that
takes
even
place.
go? Like, how do we, I mean, you're always playing a road game, or what are we doing here?
Yes, you are always playing a road game. I'm trying to bring back the popularity of family living. Buy one big house, pool all your money together, and then you always have family around.
Well, I mean, it's like, I live next door to my dad, and one of the reasons of doing that is, as he and my mom lives basically around the corner from us too, and keep an eye on everybody. In the long term, that's going to save.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I got my mom to move back to Brownsburg, and I said, in the long term, it's just a huge help to be able to be there, because it's going to make, as you guys get older, your quality of life better to know somebody's always there. It'll keep you, hopefully years from now, out of an assisted living facility, which will make you more independent. It'll make you more happy. See, it's planning. It's planning. People don't plan. People don't think 2 years from now, what are we doing? 5 years from now, what are we doing? 10 years from now, what are we doing? Like, people, these young people, and you have a daughter of this age. I'm sure all the time you tell your daughter, what's your plan?
What's the plan?
What's the plan? And these young people, they don't have a plan. They're just doing it day by day, and thus you have this just
flying by the seat of their pants,
but
an inability to save money.
To bring this segment full circle, if you are someone who does not have the ability to tell your kid to get lost, and you have to make a choice between having them live with you or just going, here's some money for a down payment, please get out of my life, I think I'm choosing that one. Now, I will totally have the ability to tell my kid, we've reached the point, 22, 23, whatever it is, you're now an adult, and venture off into society, and I'll help you however I can. But if you're not the person that has that, I think this is a good move.
It's time to be responsible for yourself.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
Time for me to fly. And on that note, it is time for us to fly. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. It is Kendall and